been there or if it's actually just the quartering Duke. We'll find out. Also, for some reason, Gourmet Detective put explosive collars on everybody and is threatening to kill us all if we don't, figure out who the quartering Duke is by the time help arrives. So, she isn't an evil character, however, she is incredibly stupid. It seems to be, in this part of the game, we are revisiting all of the previous crimes and trying to see if we can discern anything from them that might give us a hint to who the quartering Duke actually is. So if I'm remembering correctly, we successfully got to the helipad, and then we went underground to the hangar, and we are going to go towards the hole where Armor Detective fell down and allegedly died, although at this point it's seeming like they did not, in fact, die from that fall, and they might still be at large, so that's about where we're at. Let's do this. As if retracing our earlier steps, we return to a familiar room. But no one could have predicted the sight we would encounter. What's that sound? Incompetent, it's him! The red SPX? Following the sound, I see the red SPX repeatedly ramming itself against the wall. Its exterior, like crumpled aluminum. I can't believe it can still move after getting crushed by the helipad. It's heavily damaged and doesn't seem to notice us, so it's likely broken. Still going, even in that sorry state. What I feel isn't anger, but pity. My fate's been deeply intertwined with this machine, yet I'm moved as it soldiers on despite its damages. It's nothing short of admirable. Just like Saika, this mech is only attempting to fulfill the role it was given. Hey, Techie, is there a way to finish this SPX off? There is. If you Shocky Walkie, the current should short out all its functions. Thanks. I just want to give it some peace. Alright then, Incompetent, Techie, Bookworm, can I trust you three with its deactivation and subsequent inspection? While you're occupied with that, the rest of us will investigate the pit Armor fell into. Roger that, we've got it covered. We watch the others exit the room, then begin our operation. The red SPX continues slamming itself against the wall. We approach it from the side, slow and careful. Regardless of the damages it sustained, it's still armed with weapons capable of piercing even armor's suit. We need to exercise absolute caution. The SPX suddenly turns to face us. We're gonna die, I think, for a moment, but it ignores us, heading to the corner of the room instead. There I see the charging station we had examined previously. Seems he's just filling up his batteries. Impressive that he can rely on a backup power supply until he reaches a charging station. We don't do anything. We'll only continue ramming the wall and recharging. A senseless, pitiable cycle, the girl said compassionately. Yeah, it is. Techie, when it comes back, could you shoot it with Shocky Walkie? It's up to us now, so let's put it out of its misery. This doesn't feel right. But there's no other option. True to his word, Techie ejects Shocky Walkie spikes into the SPX, shorting out its circuitry with an electrical current. We make our way up close, but it gives no sign of aggression. I get mixed feelings seeing its once menacing presence vanish so abruptly. Why are we feeling bad for the target machine? Is it safe to touch it? The girl asked, arm extended in trepidation. Yes, he's fine. I hit the exposed motherboard directly. He'd truly be a monster if he could still function after that. Thinking about exposed motherboards, as if I can understand any of that. Make your future comments more accessible, will you? The girl demanded. This game has raincoat syndrome, where the first case was really strong and then you lost interest. Hey, drizzle. Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, I think I don't feel like the overarching story is that compelling. I think that I was kind of saying this during yesterday's stream with this game as well. Where I think that this game has the building blocks to like have an interesting plot and gameplay and like mysteries that are cool, kind of akin to Danganronpa. But it kind of is falling short in areas that it can't. Like, they needed to make something out of the discussions where you uncover the evidence behind the crimes. The most awkward thing about this game is that following the board game minigame thing, you get a bunch of evidence, and instead of like actually unpacking the evidence and coming to a conclusion as the player, you're just told what the evidence means by characters, a lot of the time by the main character. So you're just like, when did you figure this out? Like, there's no bridge between finding the evidence and figuring out how it was applied to the case. The characters just immediately know, and then they tell you, and then that's it. So, it's funny, really, because I don't think minigames are necessarily, like, the proper bridge for that, but there needs to be something that leads your logic.
It's funny, really.
There needs to be something that leads the player's logic to know how something applies to the case. And that's not in the game. Also, the character's writing is okay. Really okay. Yeah. Very, very one-dimensional is a good way of putting it. I think that they could have made the Duke... The Duke isn't a bad idea. It's not a bad antagonist, but we don't really know a lot. We just get the random broadcasts, they're clearly crazy, and they're a serial killer. And then you just find out that other people are working with the Duke, and you deal with them. Well, Downtown was. Nobody else really was. And maybe Renegade, we don't know. But the overarching mysteries are a little bit flat. So I understand shortcomings for this game, for sure, and why people wouldn't be super invested. I don't dislike this game, but it feels very, like, middling at best for me. Bookie is good, though. Oh, hey, Nano. Nano, oh my god, wait, you missed a big episode yesterday. Did I see you playing Persona 4 Arena at someone's wedding? Did I see pictures of that? Oh, you watched it this morning! Good guy, Nano, good guy. Okay, so I don't need to catch you up. I mean, yesterday's episode was quite interesting. And I guess we're gonna get to the bottom of what's happening. We were just discussing the game, like, at large. Was that Zot's wedding? That's awesome. Congrats to him. Okay. I essentially set its brain on fire. Does that make more sense? Oh, yay! That's really cute that he had a bunch of Persona setups for it. That's, like, amazing. Seems a little violent when you put it that way. From an SPX's perspective, that's pretty much what it's like. And as a lover of science myself, it definitely makes my heart ache. It was part of Mystery Game Tourney? Oh, really? I thought I saw, like, a bunch of people playing Persona. Like, it looked like it was a strictly, like, a Persona wedding, and that's so funny. I guess Zot was really just a Persona player, huh? He didn't really, like, play other FGs. From an SPX's perspective, that's pretty much what it's like, and as a lover of science myself, it definitely makes my heart ache. Gingerly, I touch the remains of the red SPX. What had been functioning mere moments ago is now just a pile of steel. Oh, he plays Skullgirls and Street Fighter. Cool. It sits there, completely motionless. Saika, our lives were torn from each other by this machine, but now it's finally over. I've gotten my revenge in a sense. Wasn't it the black SPX that killed? But even so, the heavy feeling in my chest won't leave me. Ultimately, all of us, Saika, myself, the SPXs, were all tools to be used by the secret police. Bookworm, what's got you thinking so hard? Ah, well, that SPX's behavior reminded me of something, so I'm running it by my collection. The girl explained. What? When it was banging against the wall? I don't follow, but Bookworm's memory isn't something to sneeze at. If she has a hunch, there can't be any mistaking it. I quietly give her some space, doing my best not to interrupt her train of thought. At that moment, the other three suddenly returned from inspecting the hole that Armor had fallen into. Hey guys, that was quick. Find any clues by the pit? You can credit our speed to Gourmet fearlessly rappelling into the depths on a safety line. I didn't sense any danger, but still, I was practically shaking with fear. I figured making a proper descent would take too much time. Considering I'm the one holding you all hostage, it's only fair that I take on a few additional risks. At any rate, no threats to report. That hole goes quite a ways down, though. There's even a hot spring at the bottom. Wait, a hot spring? The geothermal activity must be heating the water. It actually goes pretty deep, so you might survive if you fell into the spring. Huh. So that's how Armor made it out okay. Wasn't Armor impaled? That it also explained why he couldn't contact our D-pads. Falling into water would have shorted his out. Are we still trusting Armor? Wait, but incompetent, we all saw him get stabbed in the chest, remember? It clearly hit a vital organ, so how could he possibly be alive after that? Ah, well. I have no idea. Like Doleful said, it definitely appeared that the blade pierced Armor's heart. Even if he survived the fall, he would have died from blood loss. A mortal wound like that should have spelled the end of him. At any rate, there are 2 points for us to prioritize in our investigation right now. First is finding a clue as to Armor's whereabouts. After escaping that hole, he must have gone through this room on his way to the surface. Let's all take another look around and see if he might have left some sort of trace behind. Secondly, we need to figure out why the SPX was acting so repetitively. Its behavior followed too much of a pattern to just be a simple error. Remember, it's possible we're overlooking some key information. There's no detail too small as far as the mech is concerned. The hot spring? Yeah, I'm surprised this game is not using the hot spring as an opportunity to show us naked Gourmet. Now, let's all give this labyrinth a thorough reinvestigation. Or are we bling ding 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 ding? Oh, we got a remix? Okay. Scuffed floor. Okay. It's like the DR Chapter 5 remixes, it really is. This song is such a fucking banger.
でよければ。すません。冷静に調べよう。どうくなさいまして。何か少々の尋ねか何かさあ次の謎を探しましょう。ピンカートン家の誇りにかけてピンカートン家の誇りにかけて一緒に謎を解きますわよ。完食雨あられどうかしたの？お姉さんの鼻にお任せ。どうされましたか僕が解決しましょう。
Oh, his movement is bad.
どうされましたか？僕にご用ですか？
We're gonna move him here. Is this part from an SPX? Doesn't look too tasty, but still we should sample it. This symbol on the floor is clearly deliberate. It would only make sense as a message left for armor. For armor? The girl said with absolute certainty. Is this Holmes's necklace? What's it doing here? Huh? This vision I'm seeing. Could it be of armor after he climbed out of that pit? My chest throbs as if I myself have become armor. My head grows dizzy and my vision is blurred. Just walking is enough to make me totter, legs a quiver. Rather than watching this past, it feels as if I'm experiencing it vicariously. I can feel the denouement steadily growing stronger within me. I've been made to suffer tragedy anew. Forgive me, Saika. My very being aches with repentance. Forgive me, I beg you. Armor removes something from his pocket and begins speaking to it. Looks exactly like the pendant Saika was wearing. But why would Armor have it? And did he just call her Saika himself? By my troth, I shall avenge you, even if it should claim my life. I failed to uphold my oath 10 years ago. Thus, I swear I shall uphold it now. These two hands of mine shan't falter. Okay, so wait a minute. This proves Armor is not Holmes, right? How did he climb out of a hole that goes that far down without any equipment? Why is he not dead from being stabbed in the chest? It might be doleful. Saying this, Armor then begins walking towards the heliport hangar. The pendant he had been holding in his hand now dangles from his metal suit. Did Armor have some kind of connection to Saika? And if so, what was the point of his actions just now? Also, he mentioned 10 years ago. Holy fuck, that's a... okay. Iron Man thrusters? Everyone has been moved, so that's that. What a fucking banger! Alright, analyzation is next. Oh, there's only one thing to analyze. I have procured what appears to be the Red Rattle Trap's ID number and informed Techie accordingly. Evidently, it's the third in the series. Red Rattle Traps? Oh, okay, the SPX. What's the thing they found? Just the robot? I missed the start of this. Yeah, so, basically, they went from the hangar into this room, and then they found the red SPX was ramming itself into the wall, so Techie disarmed it with his shotgun, and the main character felt weird sympathy towards it, which was strange. And while they were doing that, Gourmet, Posh, and Doleful went to the hole that Armor fell down and discovered that there's a hot spring at the bottom. First came the white SPX, using visual detection. Second is the invisible one, which follows sound. Their functions grow stronger with each model. That black rust bucket was built after the red one. What could it have been tracking? This is Renegade Detective's blood. I hate to think about this again, but I won't avert my eyes. I'm ready to fight with all I've got. The tomato-colored SPX behaved exactly like the black sesame SPX. Just think back on how that one acted while we were trapped in the manor. I can get this one. I can get this one this turn. Wait, what's her stat again? Her inference is really high. So we're gonna move her over there. Okay, we got information. Everybody's been moved. Okay, so inspect there. Can he not make it? Oh, he's trash. Okay. So then I'll move him here. And I'll move him here. Do I need to analyze anything? No, right? Her inference is better than her assist, so let's just... Oh, this is already over next turn. Okay.
Rise, Phoenix!
Diamond! Happy Sunday, Diamond. What's going on? Alright, GG, I guess? Red SPX's behavior resembled that of the black SPX, meaning the principles that drive their tracking functions are one and the same. The rest goes without saying, the girl said, her chest swelling with pride as she glanced triumphantly at incompetent detective. Investigation complete. Continue results screen. Sure. Doing your nails? Oh, we love that. How's your Sunday been? 18 hours remain until our callers detonate. Having wrapped up our investigation, we reconvene at the helipad in the hangar. Well then, we've spent a considerable amount of time inspecting the area. I trust our efforts have yielded favorable results. Yes, I'll go ahead and share them. Our search has produced 3 major breakthroughs. Again, I really wish that there was some type of gameplay that would get us to this. Wonder why the puzzles got so much easier? I was legitimately scared this game was gonna be super hard because of the very first one was very difficult. Like, you literally couldn't waste any movement or else you died. First, the most important question. Where did Armor go after he fell? As it turns out, we already have the answer. I recall what we found, then reveal where Armor headed. What? He went outside the manor to Saika's body. He went toward the underground research facility. What we found on the floor of the room we were in supports this theory. Okay, sure. How can you tell? There weren't any prints or mud left behind. There's a good possibility he went to the dungeon instead. The message was left on the ground. It was easy to miss in a hurry, but not for someone who's as worn out as Armor would have been, explained the girl. I'm with Bookworm. At first, it was hard to notice from our perspective, but the pattern on the ground forms an arrow. I assume Armor was exhausted by the time he got there, so his eyes were naturally cast down to the floor. We too made our way back using that very passageway, yet we saw nothing of the sort. Well, in our case, we had Incompetent and the others waiting for us. We probably weren't very focused on the ground then, you know? Plus, they look more or less like tire tracks. Unless you inspected them closely, it'd be easy not to give them so much as a second thought. Whoever left these marks must have intended to share their location discreetly, without anyone else knowing. So, the purpose behind the message was to allow Armor to reconvene with our group? Seems that way, based on the current info. They are being so trusting of Armor staging his death. So we can't know what this plan is after meeting back up with us. What his plan was after meeting back up with us. It wasn't a highly specific message, so he didn't have much choice but to head above ground. We knew we made... My reading right now is fucking terrible. He knew we made for the research facility, but couldn't tell whether we exited to the surface or continued below ground. So he did the former and checked around. That would make for a consistent story. Only one question remained. Why did he carry Saika's body away? But there's not much that can be done to figure that out right now. We'll just have to ask him the moment we can. Couldn't have gotten to the lower sector of the Snarks from the surface by himself. To meet up with us, he'd have to go back down the helipad, in which case, his next stop would have been the underground research facility. Yep, exactly. To sum things up, Armor climbed out of the pit and spotted the arrow on the floor. He then trailed after us, but couldn't discount that we might have gone to the surface. After failing to find us up there, his only other option was to head toward the ground research facility. Underground research facility, even. That's about the gist of it. No one refutes my theory. Seems I've explained myself pretty well. Details notwithstanding, it's a sure bet that Armor set out for that subterranean sector. We mustn't waste any time giving chase. Everyone, make your preparations at once. Hold on, Posh. There's something we've got to clear up first. Something to clear up, And what would that be, pray tell? I gesture to the now defunct SPX. That SPX made me realize something. Something about the black model that killed Sholmes. The black model, you say? Really? What is it? Tell us! Posh and Doleful look at me with eager eyes. The others give inquisitive looks as well. No matter how much time passes, I still can't get used to people debating my take on a situation so excitedly. It just goes to show how amazing Psycho was for handling it so graciously, and for so long too. But that was then. I can't look up to her that way anymore. I psych myself up, determined not to bend under the pressure. From now on, I have to be ideal detective. With full conviction, I share my theory. Right, so about that red SPX. Oh shit. As I speak, my eyes wander to the remains of the SPX and suddenly my vision flips. Wait, the denouement again? Why now? Not sure what's going on. My vision whitens like it's been blinded by sunlight. My feet no longer sense the ground as if I'm sinking. I vaguely hear someone call my name as my consciousness slips away. When I come to, I find myself alone, standing in a maze. It's freezing. Even the inside of my chest feels cold, and I shiver when I stand still. It's almost like I'm the last person alive in the whole world. Here, Saika. Visible mech has good ears, but its eyes are weak. If we hide here, I'm sure it'll pass right by us. Her voice, one I know very well. In the distance, I see a boy I recognize at once. He feels extremely trustworthy. Just the sight of him makes my frozen chest swell with warmth. He runs. No, I run to him. Hey, Watto, why are you protecting me? The question comes out spontaneously, but the boy in front gives me a reassuring smile, as if the answer is a gift. Because my dream is to become the greatest sleuth in the whole wide world. Of course I'm gonna keep you safe. I mean, I want to be like the famous detective Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock? You mean the guy from the stories? He doesn't actually exist, does he? Of course not, it's just fiction. But that's why I'm aiming to become an even better detective than Sherlock. If he doesn't exist, then you... I just gotta become it myself, don't you think? He tries to flash a cool smile at me, and I can't stop myself from bursting into laughter. His dream is childish, absurd even. But for someone as lost and empty as I am, he's like a shining beacon, drawing me to him. So, why are we in the perspective of Psycho right now? What's going on? Why the protag switch? The other kids only think about themselves. They're solely focused on their own survival. Only this boy here, only Watto, would try so desperately to find a way to save all of us himself. I just can't understand why he acts this way. Seriously, you're such a softie. Calling me that. Keep it up and I won't help you next time you're in trouble. What a liar. Whenever anyone's in trouble, this boy is the first one to spring into action without a second thought. Even for someone as cold and standoffish as me. He's not just any old softie. Spending time together like this has pretty much proven that he's a softie. Then the fateful day arrives. The boy shields me, getting torn apart by the red mech as a result. I ran to his side in a panic, scooping up blood and trying to pour it back into his wounds. But there's no way for spilled blood to be returned. I scream in frustration as I splatter red across his body. Why would you do that for me? My papa told me before that my life was one huge tragedy. That from the very start, I never should have asked for happiness. You can't die protecting me like this, you just can't. The boy's covered in cold sweat and clearly suffering. It still he smiles at me. Tragedy? What's up with that? It's your story, but your dad's gonna go ahead and decide it for you? No matter what, you're always the protagonist of your own story. No matter how much tragedy you face, all you gotta do is reverse them. The boy shakily gets to his feet, still smiling through his blood-covered face. Stand up, Saika. Let's turn this tragedy around, you and me together. Yeah, let's. Ultimately, tragedy is what awaits us. To save this boy, I must become his substitute. I take the new name Saika Sharon Ferd Holmes and begin my life as a detective. Others believe that I took inspiration from Sherlock himself, but that isn't the case. It's a tragedy, just reverse it. One I partnered myself after was none other than Wato Hojo. To this day, even as a detective, I keep those words of his close to my heart, always believing that one day our paths will cross again. What is it about the SPX that has you spacing out like this? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about the past a bit. I just assumed old Humbert's perversions had finally pushed him off the deep end, the girl said, noticeably pleased. It's not like I go insane from that. Besides, I'm not into little girls, okay? Wait, everyone's eyeing me with concern. I assume I must have blanked out the way I did yesterday. The memory just now was probably Saika's. It was just like when I witnessed armors before. Another vision involuntarily triggered by something I saw. My ability to look into the past has only grown stronger. What's going on with me? Her face is looking rather sallow, incompetent. Are you feeling unwell? That red SPX nearly killed you before, didn't it? Are you certain you're not pushing yourself too hard? I appreciate the concern, Posh, but after what Teki said, I'm not scared anymore. Those SPXs aren't evil, they're just trying to do their jobs, that's all. They're just trying to work a target. If that's what you believe, then so be it. At any rate, did you examine the SPX? Did examining the SPX reveal something to you? Let me explain. Posh, when you saw that broken SPX repeatedly smash itself against the wall, did it make you feel anything like deja vu? I found it unsightly in the extreme, but that's about the extent of it. What are you getting at? I'm not too shocked she didn't realize, but someone with a sharp memory would have. Alright, let's get into it. Not them having us choose, like, the ability. Like, this is such a basic question for so late in the game. Hey, Bookworm, I bet you noticed, right? Of course I did, said the girl, confirming that incompetent misgivings were not unfounded. The repeated movements, the harsh artificial sound, it was exactly like the black SPX when it initially chased us back to the manor. Yeah, at least we weren't dodging left or right when it said on the screen that it was coming at us from the left. 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna grab my my food quick. Okay. Do you recall how it slammed against the door again and again, demanding us to come outside? Said the girl, sharing her thoughts. Bingo, you hit the nail on the head. That red SPX behaved exactly like the black one when it attacked us. What does it all mean then? They behaved in similar ways, yes, but explain to me in a simpler manner the significance of this fact. Good grief. Think carefully. Their behavior is reminiscent of insects clustered around a lamp at night. Don't you agree? Bugs drawn to light exhibit a quality known as positive phototaxis. So what I'm implying is that the SPXs share similar behavior patterns. From this we can surmise the black and red models both use scent-based tracking. The girl explained, such that even the self-styled noble could follow.
辻褄は合うと思うわ。黒い SPX に襲われた私たちは急いで洋館の中へ逃げ
That seems consistent with what we know.
しつこく扉に体当たりをされ
Even after we hunkered down in the manor and held our breaths, that black SPX kept hammering against the door. Why is Gourmet still with them? She killed Workaholic. Yeah, I don't know. She honestly isn't bad. She's just trying to catch the quartering dupe no matter what. But last night, I was just screaming for them to take off the collars, and she won't. It's just the game having another silly plot device, honestly. It wouldn't have been able to see or hear us, yet it never moved away from the manor. That always struck me as a bit odd. But things change, it can track my scent. Even a closed door can't seal away an odor. That would account for how it detected us from far away too. Being the source of the scent ourselves, it makes sense why the black SPX never left the area. Huh? Wait, but remember the first time we arrived at the underground hangar? When we were considering going up to the surface, that black SPX was there at the time, just like when Ideal was killed. What was up with that? If I had to take a guess, I'd say it was there to recharge. In a similar vein, the reason the red model kept operating afterward was because it had a function that allowed it to recharge itself independently. There's a charging station in the heliport too. Being there at the same time was just unlucky timing on our part. Huh. So if there'd been a window of opportunity, we might have been able to escape the manor. No, it would have been too risky either way. The SPX came from the heliport when Holmes was killed, remember? To leave the manor and get off the mountain, we'd have to pass by that heliport. There's no way we could have avoided engaging the SPX. I agree. In fact, wrongfully assuming it left the manor and making a break for it would have been even more dangerous. So, no matter how our cards were played, we still wouldn't be able to escape that SPX. There's not enough proof to say for certain, but the black SPX most likely tracks using scent. Let's assume as much as we continue searching. Alright then, let's shake a leg and get to the underground facility. There's a chance Armor could already be there. But we locked the shutter to the entrance, remember? It makes me wonder if he really went that way. What if this is all a trap? I don't want anyone else to die. Wolfo looks terrified. It's no surprise that he's wary of unknown threats. We have to consider that Armor, our trusted ally, could be a dangerous foe. But there's no way Saika, or anyone who calls himself an ideal detective, would show any apprehension at a time like this. All we can do is keep going. Just a moment ago, we managed to figure out something new. The only path is forward, even if it's just one step at a time. Let's all go together, Dolphin. Competent! You're right, thanks. Sorry I was being such a chicken about it. Dolphin grabs my outstretched hand, climbing to his feet. I feel like I've managed to invoke a bit of ideal detective into my speech. What are the black SPX's capabilities? Why is Armor still alive? What is his goal, and who's working with him? We have a mountain of questions that need answers. But even so, forward is the only way to go. As it stands, our collars will explode and kill us, making way for the dupe to claim even more victims. It's up to us to prevent that tragedy. Okay, but it's not, because the Duke allegedly would die with us if that happens. Unless if one of them is not the Duke. This game's writing is so confusing. Alright everyone, let's head to the underground facility. With that, we set up once again for the lower sector of Snarks. The elevator's open. Oh, Armor, to think he'd break through the shutter to get inside the research facility. I've had enough of that musclehead, the girl said, feeling uneasy over reuniting with the man who is her very antithesis. Easy now. At least this tells us he's been through here. Let's examine the area and try to find any traces he might have left. I have to wonder, though, what exactly is he trying to accomplish? I suppose he could be a member of the Dayless Knight like Renegade was, but... could he be Invincible Detective? You know, that person Workaholic mentioned before. Huh? But Renegade was Invincible Detective, wasn't he? Why bring that up now anyway? Well, there's no way an Invincible Detective could actually die, right? Y'all thought Armor was dead, but suddenly he's alive again. Doesn't it feel like he's defying mortality or something? His motives don't matter to me. Armor's alive. Right now, I just want to celebrate that fact. You're right. Sorry, Techie. I'm happy about that too, of course. Oh. Sorry, I let my emotions do the talking without any basis. I ought to be decommissioned for this. No need to apologize. Doleful wants to believe in Armor, but is afraid. You want to trust your heart over your head. I understand how both of you feel. Still, I'm Techie Detective. I shouldn't let my personal sentiments get the better of me. The same would happen to anyone who just learned their dear friend was still kicking. I mean, it's also kind of... it would have been Techie's fault that he died, sort of. So I'm sure that there's relief on his end. Try not to forget what you're feeling right now, Techie. What you're going through is a valuable lesson for any detective. Thinking bits can wait until later. All will be revealed once we locate Armor. Now, allow me to demonstrate to you all the unrivaled elegance of my investigative prowess. Posh has the right attitude. We still can't be sure of the meaning behind Armor's suspicious behavior. We need to make sense of everything the culprit has done since arriving on this island if we hope to track him down. While we're sweeping for any traces of Armor left, I also want to review the Paradox murders, where Workaholic and Renegade Detective died. Renegade killed Workaholic, only to fall into a trap, resulted in his death as well. So why was he smiling at the end? It seems off somehow. There must be some hidden truth that we have yet to grasp. I want you all to help me find it. More investigating? Okay. I won't say it's content padding, but...
調べよう。
何か少女に尋ねかける。何か用ですか？根気強く調べましょう。
何かご用？
少女
どうかしたの？甘味完食、雨あられ。どうかしたの？これは証拠品なんてね。
僕が解決しましょう。どうされましたか？肉体労働をだって。
あら
Oh, there's something strange about this house plant. I don't know what exactly, but I feel like it's watching me. It's...
どうかなさいまして。ピンクートン家の誇りに私の審美眼に震えなさい。これがピンクー
None can hope to deceive my keen eyes. There's a surveillance camera hidden behind the leaves. How dodgy, it reeks of a commoner's handiwork. Oh, interesting. I need glitch to win. Welcome to the stream. This is a blast from the past. Oh, really? You've played this game? I feel like... Wait. It says first time chatter. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Hold that thought. I will be right back, guys. I gotta take this phone call.
Another happy customer. Where are you?
Hurry, hurry! Our guests are about to arrive!
What are you doing?
Hurry! Hurry! Hurry, hurry, hurry! Hurry, hurry! Our guests are about to arrive!
Get your act together!
Okay, hi guys. Sorry, back from break. I received a call that I had to take, and now we are Gucci. It feels super late, but it's actually only 8, so like, we can still possibly beat this game tonight. Anyways, if you're still there, Glitch, it has been a very long time. Sorry I didn't remember the name. But you were in the Connecticut FGC, so that's cool. I guess I will. I guess we're inferring, right? I'm on the West Coast now? Yeah. I've been living in California the last 10 years. Not if I reveal that downtown is also still alive, well then Nano will mega cope. Has it been that long? Yeah. I moved to California in 2014. Time isn't real, I swear. I'm with you. I am absolutely with you. Rosen, why would you do this to me? Okay, perfect. Do. What have you been up to, Glitch? Anything interesting in the last 10 years? Still playing fighting games? Playing other games? Living life? Wait. Why can't I infer with him? Working, living life, been streaming the past year and editing videos to pass time and have fun. Feel like an FGC boomer? What games are you playing? Wait, why is he not intervenable? Oh. Okay. Sounds weird. Yeah, I still go to tournaments sometimes. I don't play nearly as much as I used to when I was in my 20s, though. Camera feed shows armor heading above ground, or someone in armor at least. Let's finish up here and follow him. We can't afford any more setbacks. Surveillance camera. GG and Grand Blue? Oh, okay. Who are you playing in Strive then? Let's have her go there. Oh, okay, you're playing Eddie. Zato 1. Oh. Let's have her go all the way over there. Yeah, I don't play Strive, but, the game is okay. It's an okay game. I'm mainly playing Under Night these days when I do play fighting games, but I also dabble in Melty Blood type Luna, and I still play Blaze Blue. I would play Uni? Oh yeah. I played Uni since 2015. So, lots of EXP with that game. The good old days of NBA ACC. 4 hours? Wait.
どうかしたの？やつはどこかしら。
Wait, this one might actually be hard.
うん？
Hold on here. Was this knife used on Workaholic? Maybe taking a closer look will clear up a sticking point or two from yesterday's investigation. Inference is 6. No, I'm gonna be short. That sucks.
少女はこくりとうなずいてみせた。
Okay, so she
少
can
女を
infer.
残したまま。さあ、次の謎を探しましょう。
She can
本家の誇り翔子さん
inspect
出てらっしゃい
these rubber wristbands, like the one used on Workaholic's murder. They look to be more or less the same, yet something feels amiss. Okay.
どうしたの？
Okay, so we have a difficulty 3 and a difficulty 5. There aren't any fingerprints on the knife. That's strange. Renegade Detective held it with his bare hands while we were fighting. You'll do whatever, have fun with the homies whenever applicable. Mystic Y and I still hang out on Saturdays. Occasionally Zoob is around. Oh wow. Yeah, that's quite the old guard. That's great though. I'm glad to hear that the parts of the old group are still together. That aside, didn't he believe the most unforgivable sin was fleeing from one's own crimes? Shit. Right. So let's analyze this one now.
検証なら任せてください。これは
I had Oogly Googly examine the wristband, and he detected saliva. Given Workaholic's situation, only one person would have bitten it. That's great, though. Oh! Yeah, that one's a 9. I mean, he's not gonna be able to do that one on his own. This is gonna be really close. I'm gonna have him scoop this. Alright. So...
何か用かな？どうしたの？何か用かな？
I was showing Zoobs earlier, went off to do whatever, come back to see the name LPT really took... Yeah. Oh, for sure. I do a lot of streaming on Twitch nowadays, but not really fighting games most of the time. We do visual novels on the weekends, and we do, like, turn-based RPGs every other time, so... I've been streaming on Twitch for, like, 7 years. Maybe... Yeah, 7 years at this point. Maybe longer? Oh yeah? What do you like to speedrun?
どうしたの？感じるよ。脅威の気配。
Alright,
何か
let's...
ご用ですの？どうかなさいまして？一緒に謎を解きますわよ。こくりとうなずいてみせた。
Okay. The PCs won't turn on. I didn't do it. They're just broken. Someone turned the heat up all the way and left, the girl said, asserting her innocence. Okay. So wait, is that something that can be analyzed? The PC? No. So, we're gonna have him move all the way over here. And then... she's also gonna go over here. Also do Resident Evil 2 Neon White. Oh, cool. Oh, wow, that's awesome. I've never gotten into speedrunning. Even for games that I know really well, I respect it for sure, but it sounds hard, man. Okay, we got that. Everyone moved, right? Alright, we need to hurry. His inference? Oh, his assistance is actually... We speedran FF10 too. Oh, that's not... How dare you! And assists. Angry Man? Oh my god. Angra Mind You fight was so freaking long. I see what's off. Workaholic stab wounds. A pro-like renegade would have thrusted parallel to the ribs. These marks weren't meant to kill. That gives me a hunch about the truth behind yesterday's case. No. Just learning pathing, puzzles, and everything as a whole. I've done Mega Man X as a teen. Yeah. Fate Unlimited Codes! It's been so long. I do like that game, though. Okay. So wait, we got everything else, right? Am I tripping? Oh my god, Nuclear Cheese! I forgot about that guy. He is such a character. Alright, got the keyword. Let's go to results. "10 hours remain until our collars detonate. We gather in front of Renegade's corpse. I cut right to it and summarize our findings. The salty set? Wait, what was the salty set? Did I play Fate Unlimited Codes with Nuclear Cheese? I kept feeling like something was off during yesterday's investigation. I couldn't put my finger on it then, but I think I finally figured it out. A first to 100 in Glastonbury? Oh god. Are you sure that was me? I don't remember doing a first to 100. If it was Melty, though, I could see it happening. Because I was so obsessed with Melty. Workaholic was never actually murdered. He planned his death from the start, committing suicide by electrocution. Why the stab wounds on his chest, then? Not even Gourmet would go that far to punish him, would she? The girl inquired honestly. Those wounds are actually what give him away. Seeing them, anyone would assume he was attacked, but a closer look reveals a mistake Renegade would never make. The marks are perpendicular to the ribs. Oh, yeah. I see, Glitch. That's funny. Good times. So long ago. Are they not meant to be that way? The girl asked, head cocked in confusion. She didn't harbor much interest in graphic literature. A perpendicular thrust would catch on the ribs and miss the heart. Had Renegade truly been responsible, the wounds would be parallel. That means these stabs were calculated so as not to be fatal. Knowing this makes it very likely that they were Workaholic's own. Oh god, those Denny trips. So cursed. This is all very convincing, coming from Incompetent. Given his own personal experience with such injuries. Is that really something to joke about? The girl asked, testing the waters. I guess I'd prefer if you laughed. Workaholic's own saliva was found on his wristband as well, which would support the same hypothesis. Naturally, he would have already known removing it would electrocute him to death. If he pulled it off with his teeth, that must have been his goal. Right. Yesterday we assumed that Renegade Detective took the wristband off during the blackout, but that's not what happened. The power outage, the electrocution, it was all Workaholic's doing. Does that also mean he used the handcuffs to personally restrain himself? Seems like it. Only his arms were actually bound. That way he could delay his electrocution and make preparations as needed. Think it over and you'll notice the crime scene was also by the distribution board, putting Renegade in range of a command when he came to mess with it. In short, Workaholic wasn't murdered. Rather, he orchestrated his own suicide, and Renegade unknowingly played right into his scheme. Room falls silent. While I may have just uncovered the truth, it's a difficult reality to accept. We had assumed he was a victim of tragedy taken by Renegade's hand, but in truth, he was a madman who used Renegade to kill himself deliberately. It almost makes me wish we never learned what happened. Why would Workaholic go and willingly end his own life? Even going so far as to pin the blame on Renegade. I guess he intended to kill Renegade by triggering his collar, even if it meant sacrificing himself in the process. Workaholic would have been treated as a murderer. If he made it off this island, that level of infamy would have affected his family, right? So maybe he figured it'd be better to go out as a murder victim. What was his reasoning? I try to argue against it, but words fail me. There are likely a number of people who do the same out of love for their family. He carried such a dark past, but he raised a family in earnest and did his best to change. It's hard to denounce him, knowing all that. Hey, Incompetent, how about we just say that Workaholic was killed by Renegade? What? But that isn't... It wouldn't be fair, huh? I mean, he did kill Rowdy, only to meet a mysterious end himself. But even so, I can't see him as a bad guy. I don't want to. Would it really be so unacceptable to report Renegade as the culprit to Alliance HQ? Interesting that Doleful is the one that wants us to lie about this. I can't respond. I fully understand Doleful's reasoning and honesty. Thinking about Workaholic makes me want to do the same, but still, I don't think we should do that.
どうして
But why?
宇野くん
You
は
really
そこ
want
ま
to
でして
pursue his crimes that
社畜さんの
badly?
罪を
No, it's not that at all. I don't want to put more blame on Workaholic than necessary, but what? I want to express my feelings, but my mouth fails me. We can't go with Doleful's suggestion. That much I know, but oddly enough, I can't put my thought process into words. Why does the prospect stir up such a negative reaction?
はいやめやめ
That's quite enough. We're still in this middle of the
始めております
investigation.
よ
Is now truly the time for a class-wide discussion of morals?
そのような難しい
Your
ゲーム
job
は
at a
あなた
crime
たち
scene
現場の
isn't
仕
to
事で
hold
はありませんわ
panels on
管
ethics.
理職に
Leave
も
that
任せ
business
て
to
し
the
まい
higher
ま
ups.
すそれよりも今は
We far more
もっと
pressing
反
matters
復
at
させ
hand,
なけれ
wouldn't
ば
you
ならな
agree?
いこと
Posh then points her index finger at Teki. Teeth bared in a fierce, aggressive expression.
科学さんあな
And
た
you, Teki,
どう
why
し
did
て
you
武藤さん
refrain
が映ったカメラの映像を
from
黙って
telling
おりま
us
した
about
の
armor being caught on film?
疑いたくはありません
It's
けど
not my desire to
あな
suspect
た
you,
が不滅
but
探
there's
偵
good reason to
も
believe
しく
that
はそんな
you're
も
an
のだ
invincible
と
detective,
疑
or
わざるを
counted
得ま
among
せ
his
んわ
accomplices. I'm sorry, I swear I didn't mean any harm by it, but I wasn't trying to trick you guys.
なかったんです
Teki bows his head deeply in apology and then shows us an image of his laptop.
これって
So he knew?
本当に武装さんだ
It really is armor, so he lived after all! We spontaneously shout for joy upon seeing our friend, but the gaping wound in his chest silences us immediately. Our eyes hadn't deceived us. Right before the fall, Armor had been pierced by that SPX, and he's still alive somehow despite that. It's almost like he actually is invincible.
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry. Before we went to the surface, I secretly installed a surveillance camera so we'd know if Armor was really still out there. I was also responsible for the arrow in the maze. My head kept telling me to give it up, but I just couldn't bring myself
諦
to.
めるべきだと
So sure enough, that arrow was your doing.
やっぱり
Sure enough, you already
気
knew?
づいて
Not for certain, no, but going by the size and shape, anyone would have stuck out while drawing it. Anyone aside from you, that is. It dawned on me that by dragging your tires a certain way, you could probably make an arrow on the ground.
その通り
Yep, you got me. By moving my wheels with the brakes engaged, I'm able to leave marks like the ones you saw.
どうして黙ってたの
But why didn't you tell us? Learning that he's alive would have been amazing news.
皆さんも気づいている
Well, like we
通り
noted, it's odd that he's still alive,
不自然なこ
right?
とでしょ
I was positive that if I told you up front, you'd all think I was the culprit, so
本当に
I'm really super sorry.
ごめんなさい
This is very silly, but okay. Teki's voice trembles as tears well up in his eyes. He usually keeps such a level head, so it's clear that this really has him shaken up. Like, I feel like the characters are acting so unnaturally for almost no reason. Like, if you knew that one of the others was alive, one that you technically would have been responsible for their death, he just didn't tell the group. What would Saika have done for me at a time like this? Calling my fond memories of Saika, I flash Teki the most reassuring smile I can muster. It's only natural you'd get upset. Armor protected you, only to get hurt himself. But there's no way we'll ever learn the truth unless we ask him directly, so let's find him. Teki nods in silent agreement. I wait for him to calm his breath. I want to know when Teki knew that Armor was alive, because do you guys remember, do you remember earlier, last stream, the elevator was open? I'm thinking when they got drugged by the soup, maybe that's when Armor showed up? So, like, wouldn't that mean that Gourmet is in on it? I hope for the sake of this game's plot that that's not true, but that would be really silly. Just like when Psycho did the same for me, watching over me as I struggled with this and that. Do accept my apologies, Techie. I was being so terribly harsh on you. With that, let us collect our bearings and continue this manhunt together, shall we? Come along now. Posh heads to the elevator lobby, dragging Techie and me by our arms. The elevator cabin should still be up above, but oddly enough, the outer gate has been forced open, revealing an endless, yawning abyss below. There's like also the way that they're going along with Gourmet, like she's... Again, it's very forced. It would appear that Armor accessed the lift using nothing but pure brawn. What an astounding feat. I see. Without the elevator key, I suppose that would be the only other option. Quite the inventive solution. Please, as if the brute force should be considered inventive. At any rate, let's call the elevator down and give chase. We must have just missed each other as he went up. I bet we can still catch him. Using the elevator, we head above ground and quickly hurry outside the research facility. I nearly cry out in surprise at what confronts us. Frozen! The black SPX. I thought it went somewhere else.
Level up.
The SPX in question is guarding the outside of the heliport, just as it had the day Psycho was killed. We almost attempt to rush back inside, but then we notice something peculiar. He's not responding at all. It seems like he's recharging using that mechanism by the heliport. Maybe he's programmed to stay put while he's filling up his batteries. According to Incompetence Theory, this one tracks via smell, right? We've worked up a sweat climbing around, so I'd say we're fairly pungent right now. Isn't it strange that it's not even phased? Yeah, definitely. That first time, this thing reacted to us before we could even see it. Red SPX's sensors had a wider range too. If my theory's correct, there's no way this one shouldn't be picking up our sense right now. Could I have gotten it wrong? Why are you smacking at Posh? That's dangerous. Consider it payback for earlier. We've now confirmed that not even physical touch will arouse it. While it may be charging, does it not seem a bit too defenseless here? Its power is connected, so there must be some other condition it needs to meet before it can begin tracking. What kind of condition? My scent tracking theory should be correct. More likely than not. Yeah, Posh literally could have died just now. I feel like Techie should just shoot it with his stun gun thing to deactivate it. The red SPX tracks using blood, so I wonder if this model also has a specific scent that it responds to. Just as I ponder this, its treads let out a squeak and start to rotate. It's moving. Get back, Doleful. The situation calls for the traditional Pinkerton Baritsu technique. All of us ready our stances, but the SPX ignores us, darting off in the direction of neither the research facility nor the manor, but the woods. The woods where I was first found. Why would it be going there? Take a closer look at the ground. There's a trail of tread marks, like the SPX has passed through this area before. This may be the route he's programmed to follow under standard conditions. So normally it's programmed to patrol around the woods. Black SPX model was originally designed as a sentry unit. Seeing as he's still being used as a guard here on Ward, wouldn't his current behavior make sense? Oh, I see. If the data was to cover areas with low visibility, a machine like that would definitely be the way to go. It's able to charge itself up automatically, and as long as there are no targets to pursue, it would be totally harmless, the way it is now. That robot was probably a handy invention for the people working at HQ. Still, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow, given how great a danger those things have been to us. I'd pass out if I ran into one of those guys in the woods! They make an excellent defense against anyone trying to infiltrate the island, that's for sure. Going off what we know, they repeat the same route over and over again, but will pursue any identified targets without end. Maybe he left the manor's premises and returned to his standard programming because the rain cleansed the air of any residual scent particles. He uses the same tech as Sniffy Whiffy. He probably has issues maintaining proper cleanliness and ventilation. So any traces it could have used to detect us disappeared with the rain. If it were in an enclosed space, like the maze or the manor, that'd be a different story. But it's not so lucky with the outdoors. If only it had rained while it was trapping us inside, but there's no use complaining about how things could have been at this point. I attached a transmitter to that SPX in case he strays from his route. Let's keep looking for armor now. At that moment, we hear a tremendous crash from the mountaintop manor. Sound. That must have been armor sparing not even a single moment. We sprint towards Gorman-Guest. 9 hours remain. Feels like we haven't been to the manor in ages. In the center of the room is... armor pinned beneath the chandelier. Just when we thought he was alive, just when we thought I could talk to him again. This is too much to bear. Trembling legs, I approach him and touch his metal suit. Suddenly, he's alive. Armor hugs me with all his might. Summer's day, 'tis good to see you all well. Search as I may, high and low, I was unable to find you. Oh, how wrought with worry I was. I get it. Let me go. Why did we just... Okay. My apologies, I'm simply overcome with joy. I nearly avoid passing away as Armor finally releases me from his death grip. That was a close one. I could have sworn I saw Mystic and the others waving me over. That that chandelier fell directly on you. Are you alright?
それに
Plus, you were already wounded when you fell into that pit. Are you sure your body's doing okay? A bobbling chandelier is no match for my carapace of steel. What's more, there was a hot spring situated at the bottom of my dissension. My wounds were mended by dint of its curative properties. Bullshit. Yeah, we discovered that ourselves a bit ago. You were really lucky to survive all that. B. Was that gulf rice deep? It took me a considerable amount of time to clamber out.
呆れた生命力ですね
Vitality is remarkable.
悲
I
し
see
んで損
grieving
をしました
your loss was a complete waste of tears, the girl
少
said
女
with
は
a
た
sigh.
め息と
でも赤い SPX に
But
胸
wait,
を刺されてい
You
たわ
were
よ
stabbed in the chest by the red
確かに心
SPX.
臓の位
It
置だった
seemed
けど
like it
そ
struck
れは
your
平気な
heart.
の
Are you sure you're alright?
これが
This
我を
preserved
守
me.
ってくれたのだ。
それは
Is that your
探偵
D-pad?
デバイス
Armor produces a heavily damaged D-pad from its pocket. Its state is a testament to how lethal SPX's attack can be, even for armor and his defenses. Wasn't even its target, but the thought makes me shudder all the same.
理想殿の探偵デバイスだ。
In sooth, this D-pad belonged to Lady
理
Ideal.
想殿の
I
生死を
mentioned that
確
I
認し
went
た
to
と言ったで
confirm
はない
whether she was alive or not, yes?
その際にお守り代わりに
Twice.
こっそり拝借させてもらっていた。
Nah, it's their detective pad. It's a fancy iPad that you only get if you're in the DA. Detectives Alliance. I humbly took her device at that time so as to bear it as a good luck charm. Lo and behold, it obstructed the SPX's blade. Apparently it's stronger than his armor. And also, did they assume, like, okay, the story is that a spike pierced him in the chest. Does that not mean they saw the spike pass through him? And if they didn't see that, then why... Now that I narrowly escaped mine own demise, I cannot express my gratitude to Lady Ideal enough. Why did you take her body? Who are you? Open the mask. As a token of thanks, I buried her in a spot where she could overpeer the ocean. Once this ordeal is over, I ask that you pay her your respects. That's why you went above ground in Ideal's body. What other motive would there be? Because you're her. We all look at one another, an awkward smile plastered on each of our faces. He really isn't much of a thinker, but despite it all, doing what he did is just part of his nature. Freely moving bodies around a crime scene is inconceivable for a detective, but it's hard to be upset about it. All I can really do is laugh. Whatever is the matter, have I committed yet another grievous blunder? It's fine. I'm already over it. I can't help but chuckle as I respond. Giving it some thought, there's no way someone as kind as Armor could be Invincible Detective. Believe it or not, we were looking for you because we suspected you might be the mastermind, Armor. Mary, come up! 'Twould be impossible to concoct a murderous scheme with such mental faculties as mine. Not to boast, but they are quite poor. Yes, that much is patently obvious, to a painful degree. Now, moving on from this lummox here, we're back at square one, are we not? Moreover, we've circled all the way around to Gormenghast, the very place this all began. Oh, the bitter irony. I kind of wonder if Senior Detective could loop back around, since he was so uninvolved past the very beginning of the game. Also, why does he have ability details if he's dead from the start of the game? Maybe instead of being the mastermind, he joins you for the final investigation. Still worried, by the way, that we only have certain character profiles fully filled out. Nanoscopium. So why did he go back to downtown at the start? What was the reason he said in-game? It was to get food? Right? He grabbed the sandwiches. I'm pretty sure he got the sandwiches that Mystic made and then gave them to Bookie. But that seems like we had a theory that he was taking people's fingers. And I'm kind of sad that that isn't what happened. Also, I'm not gonna lie, Mystic Detective's parameters are fucking amazing. Yeah, no kidding. But I think this is a good opportunity. Let's all investigate the manor. Oh, another... Okay. Okay. Alright, sure. Let's investigate the manor. We still don't know who murdered Senior Detective after all. Wait, that reminds me. Didn't downtown fill the building with poisonous gas? I checked, but there isn't enough on the first floor to harm us. I topped off on my decontaminants at the lab, so we can neutralize any danger zones. Looks like the second floor still has toxic fumes though, so it'd be better not to go up. Let's keep our search here at the ground level. Hey, Sionis. How's it going? Though I fail to grasp our current situation, I shall lend you mine aid. If there is any way I may service you, your wish is my command. Oh, nice. Yeah, tomorrow, I believe tomorrow is Veterans Day. But I'm working. Sad face. Nuku spawn in all areas? Yeah. For now, try not to activate any more traps, and that isn't a setup for some gaggle, right? The girl said, wary of incoming punchlines. I guess I just didn't notice it, Nano. It's like weird. Why don't we disarm the falling chandelier? It'll be bad news if it gets triggered again and lands on anyone other than armor. Intent. A most excellent idea. I may yet draw breath, but were anyone else to get ensnared by this knavery, it could be decidedly lethal. Narrowly escaped it. Sir Incompetent, your luck is unmatched. Although, I suppose fortune similarly favored. Okay. I'm starting to get I'm starting to get no one's really dead vibes. You know? Downtown was lucky too? What do you mean? Why? Have I neglected to mention this? Lady Downtown was the first of our company to arrive. I had attempted to keep pace, but could only trail behind her, arriving second. So wait, I think Nano, he's just talking about how Downtown wasn't crushed by the chandelier. Okay, so wait, this is good, actually. We're gonna actually figure out, maybe, who killed Senior Detective. If Senior Detective is even dead, I have a hunch, okay? My theory about Senior Detective is that because he has a stats page and was literally never usable, he is gonna rejoin us for the final investigation and be a usable character. And I bet you he's extremely plot relevant. Yeah. Oh my god, Downtown had assistance 10. Holy shit. Had you not opened the door first, Lady Downtown would have been met with the crushing end. Mayhaps that was the reason behind her favor for you. So Downtown was the actual target? What? Wait. Wasn't Downtown on the Quartering Duke's side? Why would they try to kill her? Vengeance for killing everybody in Snarks, maybe? Just as Psycha theorized, there were meant to be 2 victims in the case of the dismembered detective before I disrupted the plan. Which means he would have had an intended first victim. But to think it was her, the Duke's very own ally. The Quartering Duke attempted to dispose of Downtown alongside Senior Detective, but why? This and that, and so much else. It was all quite an ordeal. What? Both Sir Renegade and Sir Workaholic at once? That means it must have been the work of the Duke, does it not? While I mull over the facts in my head, Armor yelps in shock as Posh quickly fills him in on the events of the past few days.
絶対に許せんので
By
あ
my
る
trough, he will find no mercy from me. Yet again, he slays two in one fell swoop. 'Tis utterly reprehensible.
否みなよ
Good people, lend me your ears. I shall give unto you mine armor, my flesh. I shall bar nothing in the name of your safety.
心に
いや武装さん
Actually, Armor, we figured out just a bit ago that Renegade's death was Workaholic's doing. He staged the whole thing and put on a show of...
自作
Wait,
支援
show. Suddenly it hit me like a bolt. The common thread among the Quartering Duke cases is that there are always two simultaneous victims. Is that true? Yes. Right? Because in the beginning of the game, it had two people that the Duke killed. And he attempted to kill two downtown with Senior Detective. And then two more died in the research facility. I've been so fixated on solving the case, I didn't notice, but Armor's right. The Paradox murders fit the same pattern. Is it just coincidence, or was it premeditated by Workaholic, who had hoped to pin the blame on Renegade Detective? I get the feeling we're missing some crucial detail.
老子探偵の殺害方法
The method with which Senior was killed was clearly meant to evoke the Quartering Duke.
どうして被害者
So
が一人だ
why
った
was there only one victim?
もしかしたら本当は
Maybe you were meant to be the victim all along, incompetent, and you just avoided it through sheer luck.
いや僕の存在
No,
を
the Duke
先ほど
wouldn't
言っ
have
ても
known
レ
about
ギュ
my
ラーだ
presence to begin with.
渋谷さんを犠牲
There
に
must
す
have
るメ
been
リットが
some reason
何かあったはずなんだ
he would sacrifice downtown. We don't know downtown's name, right? Yeah, we're gonna fill. I bet you we fill out her character page. In this upcoming investigation. Trust in yourself. I recall Seika's final message to me. I get the sense that I'm close to the heart of this case. I just know it.
じゃあせっかくだから
Well, seeing as we're already here, let's review our first case, the dismembered detective.
探偵デバイス
According to our D-pads, it took place 9 days ago around 9.
無能ちゃんを除いた私たち
Aside from incompetent, we all gathered on Nanase Island, the one closest to Morgue.
それから約
About 3 hours later, we arrived on Morgue and discovered the corpses in the research
大
lab.
量の死体を発見
We
し
then spent some time examining and IDing the bodies.
僕が目覚めた夕
I woke up and arrived at the manor about an hour before that, at probably around 11 or so.
気絶したんです
I set off the entrance hall trap and lost consciousness.
途中で洋館へ
During
行
that
くよ
time,
う
the
理
people,
想探偵に指示されたのは
the following people were sent to the manor by Ideal: Workaholic, Doleful, Techie, Downtown, Rowdy, and Armor. Called the girl.
嘘
Right, so this is the first group that we met.
6名でしたね
はいそれで
Yep,
合っています
we got to the manor right at 1300. Then we found Incompetent passed out there. We spoke for a bit before deciding to work together.
少し話し合った後にそれからこの部屋
After that, Rowdy sniffed out a knife in this room. We then used Sniffy with me to follow the traces of blood, leading us toward the hidden passage.
発見したんですよね
And here's where we discovered how to open up the passage. I remember it so clearly. Workaholic used his experience to locate it, and Doleful risked his life to discover the trap inside. I was so impressed by how amazing the DA was.
僕なんてそんな
Oh, I didn't do anything. I mean, Armor was the one who actually cut the wire saws.
何を言う
Nonsense! I witnessed you press on even when wounded.
医師には
My heart would not fault its quaking for you, Sir Doval. Once we made it through the passage, we discovered the dismembered corpse of Senior Detective. The body's since been removed, but the massive bloodstains it left behind serve as a grim reminder of the horrific crime scene. Now that I think about it, this is where everything had been set in motion. Senior Detective brought me to this island, yet we barely even spoke before his death. There's no question the chandelier killed him, but given the nature of the trap, anyone could be the culprit. We still don't know who did it. The trick itself was simple, but there hasn't been a more difficult case to solve. Scan the manor one last time, everyone. We might notice something that we previously overlooked. It's now or never, and we're going to solve the mystery of Senior Detective's death.
最初の事件を今こそ僕たちで解き明かすんです。武装さん、その遺体って。
Apparently, Armor, those bodies, are they?
ああ、渋谷殿と魔界殿だ。
Ah, rest in peace, downtown.
時は
Indeed, 'tis Lady Downtown and Sir Mystic. We had simply left them where they lay to for. So he went to the poisoned floor again? Sir Teki agreed to sanitize them and permitted their relocation to the first floor. Although they may be departed, they still deserve proper rest. As had been done with Sir Senior, I thought to situate them in these private chambers. Appreciate it, Armor. I'd love to help, but with all the poison, it's dangerous to handle them without any protection. Verily, I would have you entrust this to me. I've been idle for some time, but henceforth, my duties shall recommence. Happy to have you. Come back, Armor. Well, glad I am to be back, Sir Incompetent. Can't quite get in there.
どうされましたか？僕が書いたこの足でもできる限りは調べますよ。
It's so weird that we have him back. Super weird.
どうかしたの？何か用かな？少女は黙したまま一度うなずいた。
We kinda need to haul ass.
何かご用ですよ。
Oh wow. Armored Detective is Assistance 9. Okay, we should finally be able to get some things done.
どうくださいまして。私が見つけて差し上げますわ。ピンカートン家の誇りにかけて。何かご用ですの？
I wonder,
ピンカートン家の誇りにかけてどうかなさいま
can
し
she get two things at once?
私が調査だなんて
お姉さんに何かご用？おやつはどこかしら？
This is Downtown's smartphone. She's beaming in this photo stuck on the case. It breaks my heart to see.
あらあら
This open book here is about architecture. Now, who could have left this out? I don't suppose it was Renegade? I do remember Renegade started in the library last time. Architecture. Study. Okay, that's interesting. What if...
僕にご用ですか？どうされましたか？
Let's analyze...
どんな証拠品だって調べ尽くします。
Judging by the author's mustache in this recent photo, this must be Senior. That makes him the designer of the manor. Meicho Aragi. Oh,
僕でよければ。
wait. Where did we hear that name before?
どうしたの？すいません。冷静に調べよう。
Broken glasses? They don't belong to Renegade. Whose are they? After escaping from the trap room, we eat dinner. While we're cleaning up, I notice Incompetent talking to Doleful. Looks like he's desperately trying to cheer up that sad sack while they wash the silverware. And despite the fact that Doleful tops him in rank and skill, maybe it's cause Incompetent's older, or whatever. He really is an easy mark. Even the merciless Duke mentioned wanting to spare him to leave as a living witness. I'll admit he's got a weird way of moving people. Okay, so this is Downtown's perspective. Even the merciless Duke mentioned wanting to spare him. Yeah, they really are the same. He's so empathetic and sincere. He may be a wuss, but he'll bungle his way through anything. He'll even trust gutter trash like me 100%. Oh! 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 His looks, gender, everything else might be different, but he really does remind me of Miyuki, the best friend I lost to the Duke. Alright, it's GG. It's Doleful. GG! Alright, here's the rest of the game. Doleful... Yeah, Doleful... So, they said on yesterday's stream that whoever the Duke is had surgery done. And I immediately thought of the bandages on Doleful's face, and I'm like, wait. How far are they gonna go with this? They also said that... So, there's an age bracket. Oh, I can't bring up the roster right now. But there's an age bracket for people that could have been the Quartering Duke. The Quartering Duke said that they were in the experiments 10 years ago. Doleful's the same age as the MC who was in the experiments. I'm also losing my voice, so sorry if it sounds like I'm yelling at you guys. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. I don't think Downtown's age was listed in the roster, but it did say she's a high school student. So she's between 14 and 18. Hey, yeah, I'm not yelling at you guys. Dude, that fishing minigame is fucked. I just noticed that Doleful and Incompetent have a somewhat similar uniform and hairstyle. You think? Maybe. But wait. So let's go with the theory that Doleful is Downtown's friend. That would explain why Doleful tried to kill her in the first chapter with Senior Detective. Because if you leave her alive, she would eventually learn that it is her friend. But I feel like if she's an ally of the Quartering Duke, maybe she would have already known? That's confusing to me. Let me look at this again. Yeah, it's possible she's never seen. Despite the fact that Doleful tops him in rank and skill, maybe it's because Incompetent's old or whatever, he's an easy mark. Even the Merciless Duke mentioned wanting to spare him to as a witness. That's referring to Incompetent, right? Really are the same. I'm worried that he's too gullible for his own good, so I find a spot away from Doleful to chat him up a bit. Hey, what's up, dude? What were you and Doleful talking about just now? Huh? Definitely not his real name. I didn't even hear it, I swear. Real smooth there, dude. Could you be any more obvious? No lie, this guy's got me stressing. Like, will he really be able to suss out a bunch of liars? He's even getting tricked by me, and I'm Garbo. That honesty is gonna get you killed, bro. You gotta learn to be less trusting, okay? Not everyone out there is as kind as you. Don't freak me out like that. At least all the people here on Morgue seem okay. Well, except for Renegade Detective. Include Dingus. You're legit standing next to a crazed killer right now. What a drag. For someone who wants to be a detective so bad, he's way too gentle. He'd be crushed if he found out the truth about me. Wait, this dude's literally after my ass. Why am I worried about him again? But he doesn't really give off bad vibes. If I can find that hidden passage myself, then maybe we can dig up some evidence to use against the DA and then go back to the mainland and, I don't know, together or something. LOL, get real. This isn't make-believe time. I'm mad I even indulged myself like that just now. How is she getting a redemption arc after death? Oh, I know. How about tell each other our real names too? And I'll keep the fact that you know Doleful's on the down low. Huh?
どうして
Why?
そんなこと？
本名って探偵の弱みじゃん。
The detective's real name is their weak point, so if we know each other's, that basically keeps both our lips zipped. Feel me? Hey, what's up, Alvin? Happy Sunday, hope you're doing well.
先輩の秘密を漏らしたら、うちの秘密だって漏らされる以上、守るしか
It'll
ないもん。
help us keep our secrets, cause if you leak mine, I'll leak yours. It's like a truce, except, you know, kind of twisted. And if you can just trust people at their word, it won't work unless they benefit from keeping their promise. I'm gonna be jazzed if he realizes that. Oh, you the day off tomorrow? Nice. Yeah, I have work tomorrow, so probably won't stream super duper late, but it's fine. Money is nice.
確かにそれはそうだね。
Ah, that makes sense. Okay then, my name is...
僕の
いや、あんたから教
Hold
えた
up,
ただう
if
ちに
you
秘密
tell
を
me
漏らされる
first,
リスクが
you'll
増える
risk
だけでしょうに。
me piecing out and blabbing about it right after.
たく。
Jeez. Okay, so my name, it's Inumi
うちの名
Sanai.
前は早苗犬美。
I like
人
super
の名
hate
前
it.
は嫌いだから
So
絶
if
対
you
に
ever call
呼
me
ばない
that,
で
we're
ね。
donezo.
はい、これでお互いの秘密を握り合いました。
There. Now each of us has some
じゃ
dirt
あ
on the
先
other.
輩、
Just
生きて帰
tell me
れた
your
ら
name once
ち
we
ゃん
make
と
it out
本名
alive.
教えてよ
Okay?
ね。
今じゃなくていいの？
Tell you now?
うん。
Nah, it's cool. This way, you can't die before me, so don't
う
start
ちより先
slipping
に死
so
んだり、
much that it
油
gets you
断して
killed.
殺さ
Got
れちゃ
it?
ダメだよ。
Got it. I
それ
won't
は
let
も
you
ちろん
down.
だよ。
He says with the most earnest face ever. This guy is so serious, it's actually funny. Still, that's exactly how I know keep his end of the deal. He should watch out for himself a little better now. But more important,
ちゃんと生きて帰れたら。
to actually survive this first. I don't want to keep living too now. Reality sucks. Things aren't gonna go my way, and karma's definitely gonna smack me in the face one of these days. I mean, come on, there's no such thing as tragedy reversing heroes in the real world. Why does she know that term? And yet, he makes me want to live. My BFF was such a softie, she died for it. And this dude's so much like her. Oh, so wait. Okay, we definitely misunderstood her previous comment. She was saying the MC is like her best friend, not Doleful. That was very not well written in terms of like sentence composition. She had thoughts to live, she chose not to leave. Yeah. So we learned her name. Oh.
どうかしたのか。片っ端から探すのだ。
何か用ですかと少女は面倒くさいと言いつつ少女の調べる
Swire Trap wounded Sir Doleful on our first day here. Even now, I regret not insisting on taking the lead for him. Why is it in that room? That is weird. So...
どうされましたか？
Alright, we're gonna move you.
どうされましたか？
What is left to be analyzed? Bloody wire. Downtown smartphone is another one.
検証なら任せてください。
There's a high probability that the black SPX tracks a certain scent. Doleful was wounded and still bleeding at the time. Oh! Oh! And then Doleful was... Remember, originally, you guys... Doleful wasn't included in the group that was supposed to go towards the helipad. And then he got... And yeah, we're back on Doleful being evil. Because the SPX tracks only a certain scent, and it's Doleful's scent. Also, okay, wait. This is another detail I was gonna talk about and I forgot, because there's so many things pointing to Doleful. But Doleful has a kind of superhuman power. And the Quartering Duke said that they got a superhuman power 10 years ago. Which initially made me think of Psycha, but it's actually Doleful. While on death's door, Lady Downtown imparted a clue about the Quartering Duke case. Oh, sagacious compatriots, really decipher it? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. This one might actually be super tight. So that's gonna be 4 plus 6. Okay. Shit. Yeah, this one's gonna be tight. I actually think I might have fucked up this turn. Uh-oh. How many hours? We have 4. I might be able to swing this. Yeah, I needed the armor assist exactly. Because armor's assist is 10, which is amazing. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, double boosts! Wait, that works? I don't know what's going on, but yeah. This song is a bop, isn't it? That's it. I finally figured out that thing Incompetent shared with me. By differentiating between killing and dying, she betrayed the Quartering Duke at the very end by trying to reveal the truth behind each case.
されましたか？
Oh boy. I don't know that I have enough time.
どうしたの？先生曰く調査こそが探偵の基本。
勝手承知である。
I think I'm gonna have to redo this. So, okay. We infer... actually, I might be fine.
さあ実験を始めましょうか。僕が解決しましょう。僕とフレンズの力が必要ですか？
Oh god. Hey Kisuhan. How you doing tonight? I think I'm gonna just narrowly make this, actually. Okay. So, as long as I do exactly what I just did, again, last night was a fever dream. It was very fun, wasn't it? The chandelier trap has been considerably modified from the original blueprints to be far more deadly. Only the man who designed it, senior detective, pull off such a bold renovation.
I want this to end.
What?
勝手承知である。
Okay, so wait, are they gonna circle back
どうしたの？
and tell me that senior detective Are they gonna circle back and tell me senior detective
どうかしたの？
is the quartering dude?
頑張るよ。
Murder weapon is the shop.
お姉さんに何かご用？
Hold on. We just need to clear a 20 in one turn. It should be easy. As long as we don't get gate-kept by the angle that we're able to see everything by. Which might sound like a silly thing to say, but it's actually real.
何か用かな？
Doleful is looking hella sus, by the way. Divinity, Baldur's Gate 3. At least in that game you can turn the camera. Okay. So this is it.
甘味完食雨あられ。ディナーの前に解いちゃいましょう。
She can't make it. Oh, that's... Oh. Fuck! Oh, no! Okay, wait, it's fine. I think it's fine.
何か用かな？僕なんかでも解けるかな？
Okay.
どうかなさいまして。
What's her inference? Oh, her inference is bad.
ビンカートン 家の誇りに庶民を助けるのも貴族の務め。
Why can't I move
どう
him?
かしたのか
Ah!
どうかしたのかどうかしたのか
Hello? Why can't I move him? That no! Oh. Now I can move
どう
him?
かなさいまして。どうかなさいまして。一緒に謎を解きますわよ。
What is happening?
どうかしたのかどうかしたのか
I honestly don't know what's happening, but it's fine.
何かご用ですの？
What if I move her here?
何かご用ですの？一緒
And
に
then
謎を解きますわ
I
よ。
move there.
どうかしたのかそう武装探偵助立ちに参上せん
His assistance is way higher, so hold on.
僕でよければ
Did she make it?
少女はこくりとうなずいてみせた。
僕が解決しましょう。僕が解決しましょう。僕とフレンズの力が必要ですか？
Okay, I think it's fine. It's fine.
僕なんかにわかるのか
Oh, easy peasy.
ええ
There's blood on the outside of the door, I see. The culprits smeared their own blood to sick the black SPX on us like Renegade did.
中
But I'm sure someone would notice this much blood splattered about. Jesus. Jesus Christ. What is happening? One hour remains until the callers detonate. I gather the group in the living room just as Ideal Detective did when she first presented her hypothesis to us. My heartbeat gradually quickens. I think I finally hit upon the truth, but it's a hard one to swallow. I'm a bit hesitant to tell the others, to be honest. See, this is... I don't like this about this game. It literally skipped the part where the player is clued in on what's happening, and it's just gonna tell us.
サイカちゃんやっぱり僕はまだまだ未熟だ無能探偵の方が合っているよ
Alright, I'm making one final drink, and we are gonna finish this game tonight. I'll be right back.
Where are you? Okay. At this point, I'm just hoping that my voice lasts until the end of this game. What do we think the big plot twist is, guys? Doleful and Senior Detective? Some combination at Saika. I'm still as inexperienced as I thought. Incompetent really is
the better fitting alias for me. I chuckle at my own shortcomings before shifting my gaze forward. Everyone's here. I can't back down now. My only option is to trust in myself and share my theory. Thank you for coming, everyone. I've discovered the culprit behind the case of the dismembered detective. Allow me to explain. Tell us your conclusion first. It'll spell trouble should the culprit escape. Better to inform us at once if they're in our midst. Relax, Posh. The culprit isn't here because they're already dead. The culprit is someone who already died? Was there a traitor among the research facility staff? I see, that was an oversight on my part. Where their corpse mingled with the rest at Snark's, they'd have practically disappeared. Senior's killer was a maniac uncaring for their own demise then. No, that's not what happened. Beg pardon? Everyone in the research facility at the time said that Ideal had been contacted via D-pad by a voice resembling Senior's, right? That means whoever did so undoubtedly was still alive during the time of the crime. In short, the true culprit was one of the people you were working alongside with. Pardon? It isn't actually that mind-blowing. Maybe your abilities as a detective are just that inferior to his, the girl said, hitting the bullseye. I will not be called inferior to an incompetent, and there are no bullseyes to speak of. In fact, your shot missed by a mile, do you hear me? Why don't we disregard clown detective and continue with our discussion? Bookie literally non-stop bullies Posh, but Posh kind of deserves it. So you're saying that someone in our group murdered Senior Detective? The girl asked, prompting Incompetent to elaborate. Before I reveal who the culprit is, let me first explain some special characteristics regarding this case. What would those be? Was there something different about this one compared to the others? Yeah, but it goes beyond just what happened here. Every incident linked to the Quartering Duke shares something in common. True. The common thread is that there were always two simultaneous victims, right? Although in Senior's case, was the only casualty. Was there something else? No, Senior's detective's death didn't have any of those commonalities, because the culprit attempted and failed to pattern it off the Quartering Duke killings. A remark Armor made clued me in on this. Me? What was it I said? I've not even an inkling. It was something you mentioned just a bit ago. Yeah, his comment was the piece I needed to piece all this together. What he said was... I nearly died. I was lucky to escape, just as Armor said. Anyone who got caught in the chandelier trap shouldn't have lived to tell the tale. That means there were supposed to be two victims, the same pattern seen in the Quartering Duke cases. So, whoever set this trap up intended to indiscriminately kill another person in addition to Senior Detective? They didn't care who it was, so long as nobody else died. How awful. No, the crime wasn't that random. That's the most disturbing part. Had I not shown up as an unexpected factor, there would have been even more chaos than we already experienced. The Duke had clearly planned for one individual in particular to be killed alongside Senior Detective. Okay, so... I'm officially confused. He said the Duke isn't one of them, which means it can't be Doleful. He then said that the Duke is someone who's dead, but he's acting like it's not Senior Detective, so who does that leave? Ideal? Again? Are we gonna circle back to Ideal being
the quartering Duke for literally like the 20th time. I don't know, man.
ちょっと待って。
One sec.
扉を
There
開けてトラップで死
isn't
ぬなんて
any
行為
way to just lead someone into opening the door and dying to the trap, is there? If this ends up being ideal in the suit of armor, I'm gonna flip the fuck out. There isn't any way to lead someone into opening a door and dying to the trap, is there? There is. Remember that our message from, Senior Detective said go straight to the mansion and enter the front door. So that was probably Saika pretending to be Senior Detective.
どんな手段を用いて
How did the Duke arrange to kill another person so purposefully?
簡単です。
Simple. He told that person in advance to open the manor door before anyone else, and then stand right in the chandelier's path, feigning ignorance.
お待ちなさい。
Just a moment, you're suggesting that someone was willing to die merely because the quartering Duke bade them to?
そんなの
That's
不可能です
impossible.
わ。
いましたよね。僕たちの目の前で八つ咲公のために
But someone already was, remember? Someone died right in front of us, all for the sake of the quartering Duke.
それって
You mean? That's right. Part of the group that was heading toward the manor at the time. That initial plan was for them to fall victim to the lethal chandelier that I wound up setting off instead. That person was downtown.
渋谷
Downtown detective. Originally, it was she, not I, who was meant to trigger the trap and die on the spot.
ここで死ぬはずだった人なんです。
So, okay. I feel like we've been shitting on the game a little bit, and I actually kind of like this point. Because it explains why she had a soft spot for the main character. Like, I didn't like in her chapter where she was like, haha, I'm a psycho killer, but she was really nice to you up till that point. And even, like, sympathetic. And it's because he saved her life. And she was grateful, even though she was a killer. Doleful, Techie, you remember, don't you? I bet she rushed to open the door first when you reached the manor, right?
渋谷さんだったんじゃないかな。
ええ。確かに渋
Yeah,
谷さんでした。
you're right. She did.
僕の歩みが遅い
I
から
take a bit longer to get from point A to point B, so she offered to go ahead and turn on the AC before running off.
普段通りの明るいテンションだっ
She
た
was
か
just
ら
being her usual bubbly self, so I didn't think anything of it.
危なっかしいとは思ってい
Felt a
た
little
けど
dangerous to me.
まさか死ぬ気でそんな風に振る舞っていただなんて。
Doleful is so sus, but I have a feeling it's not gonna happen. Doleful is so fucking sus. So the burnt remains of the gloves used to handle the wire saw were hers as well, correct?
確かに気になるわね。
That part has me curious. If she planned to die anyway, keeping those gloves on her as evidence wouldn't make much sense.
そもそも
She would have had some extra time after rigging everything up, so why didn't she just dispose of them outside? Found those hastily burned gloves in the fireplace while investigating the case of the dismembered detective. It's no overstatement to say it was thanks to those gloves that we came to the conclusion the culprit was still inside the manor. Even if she was prepared to lay down her life, Downtown would have been needlessly walking around with evidence that implicated her
なら持ち歩いていた理
Which
由は
means there was a simple reason why she kept holding onto those gloves. Okay, we have no evidence to say this, but I feel like this is correct. Oh!
なら持ち歩いていた理由は簡単だ。
There's no penalty for getting it wrong. I see. She had no chance to throw it away. What? Huh?
なら持ち歩いていた理由は簡単だ。証拠品を持ったまま
What if her goal was to die with the evidence on her so she'd wind up being suspected?
疑われることが
Being a suspect was her goal? But why?
何の
下道探偵を思い出してみてください。
Think back to what happened with Renegade. If you left behind something suspicious when you died, what do you think would happen?
反論もできずに
You'd be labeled the
犯人に
culprit,
仕
no
立て上げ
question.
られる
Right. So if Downtown died at that time, with the evidence on her person, she likely would have been deemed the quartering Duke.
見出しは
Can imagine the headlines already. Pitiable serial killer ends murder spree via suicide.
哀れ
The
な
girl
殺
said
人
with
鬼の
a
最後
wry
というところで
chuckle.
渋谷探偵に全ての罪を
So
背
the
負わせ
true
て
motive behind
奴が
killing
行こうとして
Senior
死
was
なせるこ
to
とが
pin the blame on Downtown
同志探
Detective
偵殺し
and have her
の
die
真
as
の目
the
的
Duke.
だったのですね
Hold on! Even in her final moments, Downtown never once claimed to be the Duke, right? Doesn't that seem odd if taking the credit was her goal?
その通りだ。
Well said, Sir Incompetent had deepened his bond with Lady Downtown, just the same as I.
彼女が八つ崎港の
It
よう
is
な下道に身を落としたのは
unconscionable
ありえんのであ
to
る。
think she would sink so low as to claim to be the quartering Duke. Yeah, I get the feeling she ended up going against the Duke's orders there. I didn't realize it at the time, but true to form, her final words were actually a message to us.
渋谷殿
True
ら
to
しい
form? How so? Right at the end, Downtown showed her pride as a detective by using her signature ability.
渋谷さんは最後に
Remember what she said at the very end.
マジでアマちゃんだな
Your bleeding heart, it makes you want to cry.
渋谷さん。
そんなアマちゃん
Poor
揃いだ
sweet summer children, this was all a total walk in the park for me. You're no match for the complete whack job you're up against. Still, you tried, so here's a little
う
hint.
ちの友
The
達が
Duke
八
is
つ
the
崎
reason
港の
my
せい
friend
で死んだ
died,
ことも
and me, Mystic, and
うち
folks
が
on the
この手
island,
で
it's
魔
like
界
all
探偵八つ
connected.
崎港のせいで老子探偵は死んだ魔界探偵は
Senior detective died because of the Duke. I killed Mystic, and now I'm gonna die too.
うちも死ぬ誰のためでもなく自分の
Not because of
意志で
anyone else, but out of my own free will. How is this a hint?
その意味をしっかり
Senior chose to die for the Duke. That's what that would imply. She killed Mystic of her own free will, which is somehow analogous to Senior dying because of the Duke. The Duke is the reason my friend died. Does that mean her friend died because of the Duke? Like, chose to die? Didn't get what she was trying to say back then, but her encoded message was definitely on brand with her
渋谷さんならではの
communication
暗号だったん
skills.
だ。
全てがつなが
It's all
っているって
connected in what
何なん
sense?
ですの？
Was this all one overarching
全て
crime?
同一犯だ。なるほど。
I see. Her method was to be expected. She was quite adept at manipulating others with her words, actions, and demeanor.
どうした
She used die when referring to Senior and herself, while Mystic and the others were
島の
killed.
職員に対しては殺す。
What is it?
明確に動機を使い分けている
Oh my gosh. Okay.
真意を紐解く
What?
鍵なのでしょう。と少女は推理した。
Right. Okay. So her friend was a Duke sympathizer, is what she's saying. Mystic was killed because he was a victim. She's gonna die because she's also a sympathizer. And Senior, okay. Alright, that's what that means. Exactly, Bookworm.
どうしよう
So she differentiated between verbs? To what end would she do such a thing?
さすがは
How very like you, Clown Detective.
全然いい
You missed the point entirely, the girl sighed, too frustrated to speak.
ものを言ってるじゃありませんの。
We're speaking right now, are you not? Yes, surely the fault is all mine for being so slow on the uptake.
死ぬは起動し
Die is
殺すは
an
起動し
intransitive verb, while kill is
希望を
transitive.
設定することが
Intransitive verbs don't have an object.
つまりどういうことです
And
の？
what's and that's significant how exactly?
つまり
Well, Downtown said that both her friend and Senior Detective died, meaning they weren't killed by someone.
老子探偵を殺したのは他でもない彼自身。つまりあの事件の真相は老子探偵自身による自殺劇だったんだ。
So the person who killed Senior Detective was in fact Senior Detective himself. Reality is that the case was a suicide.
I don't have any faith in humanity.
なんですってと少女は見事にお株を奪ってみせた。
I mean, Downtown was also kind of a suicide, right? Because she did the poison, and she inhaled the poison. Beg your pardon. Mimicked the girl, deftly snatching the words out of Pasha's mouth.
奪うんじゃありませんわよ。
They're snatching you, thief, you.
どういうことですの？
What do you mean Senior Detective committed suicide?
意味が分からず
It threw me for a loop too by considering a certain possibility. However, everything suddenly falls into place.
老子探偵こそ八つ咲き校に
Senior was the traitor working with the Quartering Duke, assuming he was behind the massacre at the research facility, that is.
確かに
True.
他の職
All the
員
other
が全員
personnel
殺されたのに一人だけ
was
生き残
killed,
っていた
were
状
killed,
況
should
が
be
妙だ
were
と
killed.
思っていました。
So, I did find it odd that only one
老
survived.
子探偵だけをわざ
It
わ
would have
ざ
been
手間
too
をかけ
risky
て
to
殺す
go to all that trouble just to kill Senior Detective.
ロースちゃん自身
But
が
if Senior Detective himself was behind the trap, then there wouldn't be any risk. Plus, no one would ever think he committed suicide using a trick like that.
待ってくれ。あのような機械なワイヤーを使ったトリックを一人で仕掛けられるものなのか。
Okay, wait. We can get back on the doleful or Saika is Quartering Duke train. So wait, if you think about it, the two Quartering Duke sympathizers who aren't the Duke himself
were Senior and Downtown. The goal was for them to die in the first chapter of the game, which would then pin the Quartering Duke on Downtown. But because it didn't work out that way, we know neither of them is the Quartering Duke, which leaves Doleful and Saika. It's one or the other. I don't know which one it is, though. One moment, is it truly possible to lay so complex an artifice all by oneself? I shall speak plainly, such a task would be far beyond the means of an oaf like myself. We'll translate back to Kanai Ward. I don't know if I like that analogy. Here's on as ever, but no worries. It'd be an impossible feat for most people. I'm sure Downtown helped out with setting things up as well as wiping out the staff. I see. One could envision the success of this stratagem were both to be involved. So that means Downtown not only assisted Senior with his death, but also had to anticipate her own down the line. What a heartless scheme. But is there any concrete evidence that Senior really was a traitor? I like to believe Downtown's message, but I just can't see him double-crossing us. He was the most tenured vet in the DA. I've got no proof. Something that clearly points to Senior Detective's involvement in the scheme. However, it also reveals that this case is even more morbid than we realized. There's more? Downtown assisted in laying the trap to kill Senior before becoming a victim to himself. And now you say there's more? Some alterations were made to the chandelier trap for this plan. You see, Renegade Detective left a book open for us at the perfect section. Were it not for that, I wouldn't have realized the other truth of this case. Only a truly crafty individual could throw this case a curveball post-mortem. But right now, Renegade Detective has my thanks. The one who designated the chandelier trap was none other than... Oh, Design. I'm right. Tell me, do you recognize the recent photo of the author of this book? I open the book in question and show them an article on the author, causing everyone's jaws to drop in unison. That mustache, that's Senior Detective, without a doubt. This matter's architect, Eicho Aragi, was mentioned by the book in the underground research lab too. That was Senior Detective. What's up, acting? Did I see Overlord movie? No. I actually, have not seen Overlord at all. The one who fell victim to the manor was the very man who designed it. No way it was pure coincidence, so I checked the chandelier again. What I learned was that the trap had been modified. Its brakes were disabled so that it could descend at a lethal speed. Pardon? It was obvious upon examination. One specific section had more up-to-date parts than all the others. The chandelier's construction was altered for this crime. I believe the only one able to do such a thing would be its creator, Senior. If he's got it, Senior clearly adjusted the trap, so whoever got caught in it would be guaranteed to die. Unless if it was armor, apparently. In other words, Senior wasn't simply a victim, but the perpetrator behind the entire scheme. A victor and perpetrator at the same time? Then this wasn't a homicide, but rather... That's the most horrific part. Finally, I share my conclusion with the group. Who was it intended to kill Senior... Was it intended to kill Senior Detective? Does this sentence even make sense? Who was intended to kill Senior Detective? It does.
her? I actually am not sure.
老子探偵を殺すはずだったのは
The one who was supposed to kill Senior Detective was downtown, but I suspect he also helped with the arrangements to end his own life. At the same time, he collaborated with her so that she would die by the trap as well. Who was intended to kill Downtown Detective? By killing one another, they would both become victims and
加害者であり
culprits.
被害者であるという奇妙な構図が生まれるはずだったんだ
Is this not exactly what happened with, Renegade and Workaholic? First, Downtown arrived at the manor first so she could open the door and trigger the trap, killing both herself and Seniors, or so the plan went. Turned out an unfamiliar boy had already set it off. Worse, the murder weapon was still on the chandelier, and the gloves were in her pocket. As it stood, we would be pointlessly outed as a traitor, and the DA wouldn't fall into disarray. He must have really been panicking. So in an attempt to cover her tracks as much as possible before armor arrived, she slipped on the gloves and took the wire saw off the chandelier. The evidence still on her person, she joined up with us, quietly tossing the wire on the floor as she went through the underground passage. Then, once Saika directed us to split up, she hurried to the living room, lit the fireplace, and gloves. While things hadn't gone according to plan, she did manage to dispose of the evidence. These were surely the facts behind this case. Everyone else is dead silent. It's no surprise, though. Not only have I outed Senior as a traitor, I've also revealed that two allies of the Duke had plotted to kill one another. It's unfathomable. But there's still one more truth left to reveal. It's time to tell them the quartering dude's true identity.
伝えないといけないんだ
We decide to leave the manor and head to the heliport. As always, the Black SPX is standing guard outside. Although its intimidating presence has me daunted, I begin discussing the next part of the investigation.
皆さん
Sorry to bring you guys out, but there's actually something we've got to do
やら
here.
なければ
このような場所で何をする気か
I
は知
haven't
り
a
ま
clue
せ
what
ん
you're
けど
intending.
早
Would
く
you
済ませてく
mind
ださいません
finishing
こと
this up sooner rather than
い
later?
くらデク
I
ノ
don't
ボ
care
の
if
状
that
態と
machine
はいえ
is merely sitting there
あの
like
黒い
a scarecrow.
のそばで
It's
長
quite
話をす
unpleasant
るの
for
は
one of my
上流階級の私
gentility
とい
to
え
be
ども
in
少
such
々答えま
close
すわ
proximity to it.
大丈夫なのかな研究棟に
I
戻ら
wonder
な
if
きゃ
this is really a good idea. Couldn't we, you know, head back to the research facility?
すぐに済むから
This won't take long. Just give me a second. Don't worry. I promise the SPX won't attack us.
この SPX が
Figured
何を
out
感知
what
す
the
る
black SPX
か分か
tracks,
ったんで
haven't
す
you?
ね
I give a nod, continuing my explanation.
探偵八つ崎殺人事件の真相を受け
So first,
特
now
徴
that
が類
we
似した
know
も
the
う一つ
truth
の事件
behind the
について
case of the
真相を
dismembered
解明して
detective,
おくよ
I'll explain how another one parallels it.
社畜ちゃんと下道ちゃんの
The one
二
where
人が
Workaholic
死
and
んだ
Renegade died, the case of the Paradox murders. You said a bit ago that Workaholic had also committed suicide, right? Workaholic, like Senior, prepped
社
in
畜ちゃんが事
advance,
前に準備して下道ちゃん
rigging
が
a
ブレー
trap
カーを
where
引き
he'd
上げ
get
たと同時に
electrocuted
関
when
連する罠を
Renegades
作っ
reset
た
the breakers.
とい
I
うの
understand that
はで
much.
も
But what
社畜ちゃんが
method
下道
did
ちゃんを殺
Workaholic
した
use to
方
kill
法は
Renegade?
一体
The
何な
fact
の
that his death resulted in 3
社
total
畜ちゃんが死ん
commands
だ
was
ことで
circumstantial,
偶
no?
然コマンドが3つたまっ
監視者である自
Simply
分
dying as an observer would generate enough commands to detonate Renegade's collar. So in this situation, the act itself is tantamount to homicide. The most wicked facet of Workaholic's scheme was that it required Renegade to throw the breaker,
的に自殺のような構図にしたことです
practically making it a double suicide.
命を背負わせることに
Renegade was fixated on making people shoulder the heavy weight of the lives they took, but his actions forced him to bear his own death explosion, which,
原因になった社畜さんも亡
with
くなって
no way to impose it on another. Worse yet, the true guilty party was already dead.
それは 下道探偵にとって
This all would have been the ultimate disgrace from Renegade Detective's view.
なるほど
I see.
それは確
That
か
would
に
indeed
あ
be a
の
nightmare scenario in his
芸
mind.
能探偵の生
Going by his
活を
general
考える
demeanor, he
死ぬ
undoubtedly
間
was
際まで
frantic,
誰かに自分を殺させようとあ
hoping
がく
to
と思い
make
ますが
someone kill him before he died.
じゃあ
So that means Renegade getting trapped and dying in the elevator was
わざとだよ
definitely premeditated.
下道探偵に
If he was going to die from the bomb anyway, getting killed by someone operating the elevator would be more preferable.
あいつは最後の最後まで
Until the very end, he was possessed by a fervent desire to make someone else bear the burden of his life. That's why he was smiling, because he was killed by
狂ってい
somebody.
ますわね
How utterly mad. You said it. But he did stick to his principles, I'll give him
だ
that.
からこそ
Which is precisely why he died wearing such a satisfied grin. The smile on his head and his dead face truly seemed to be one of contentment. We don't know who did Renegade in, but he somehow managed to get himself killed by another, flooding him with total euphoria. Not that I can empathize or have any interest in doing so, but in some odd sense, he really lucked out with this one.
理屈は分かりましたが
Follow your logic, but why would Workaholic want to take his own life?
自ら死
Said
を
the girl,
望んだ
posing
ので
yet
しょ
another
う
question.
それを言うならロースちゃ
And
ん
why
も
would
ね
Senior, for that matter?
二人とも
They were both sleuths,
ベテラン
veteran
の域の探偵よ
sleuths, you know?
彼らを手玉に
This
取るど
goes
ころか
beyond mere
自殺に
manipulation.
導いて
They
し
were
まう
led
なん
to
て
kill themselves.
ただも
No
のじゃ
way
ない
it was the work of an ordinary person, most likely
そ
the
の
dude
人
who
物
did
こそ
this.
が
探偵として実績豊富な人物たちを
He was able to draw a number of seasoned detectives to his side. Maybe his true ability is his
そのカリス
charisma.
マ
But then who actually is the Duke?
地下迷宮で出会った時の社
We
畜探
crossed
偵
paths with
は
Workaholic in the
自殺
maze.
の気配
He
なん
didn't
て
seem
ありません
suicidal.
でした
He probably had an encounter
お
while
そ
in
ら
the
く
research
それ
facility.
はおそらく
And that meeting must have
私た
involved
ち
a
の
member
中
of
に
our
いる
group.
人物ですね
Just who is this quartering Duke, I wonder? Girl asked, speaking for everyone.
いやご託はもう結構
Enough
ですが
idle
早く
prattle
正体を教えなさい
to tell us the quartering Duke's identity this instant.
わかりました
Alright, allow me to
皆さん
remove
の目の前で
the quartering Duke's
今
mask
から
right
安崎
before your
党の
very
正体を
eyes. Take out a knife I brought from the manor and give my palm a shallow cut. Alarmed by the action, everyone scrambles to intervene, but I stop them and continue my explanation.
落ち着いてください
Please stay calm. As I've said, the Duke is exceptionally talented at guiding others to their deaths. That very skill was on full display when he used it to get ideal detective killed. He just said he! That means... Alright, it's over. It's over. Nano. I just want to say, Nano called this in Chapter 2. So the Duke was behind Ideal Detective's demise after all?
安崎公は僕らの目の前で堂々としかし誰にも気づ
That's
かれる
right.
ことなく
The quartering Duke brazenly operated the SPX right in front of all of us, and not a single person noticed.
どのように誘導したのですか
How was he able to control it? The girl
少
asked,
女
keeping a
は
lid on
興
her
奮を
excitement.
抑えつつ
誘導した方法は
Control it using blood. Blood? Come to think of it, Renegade used the scent of his blood to lure the red SPX, did he not?
血で SPX が引き寄
Wait,
せられる
if
から
that's what the SPX is drawn to, won't your injury place us in peril?
誰か止血を止血を
Obviously, the black one only chases the quartering Duke's blood, and the person is... It's doleful. There's no way it's not doleful.
僕の血は大丈夫ですいや
My blood is fine, actually. All of ours is, aside from a certain
血液以外は
someone's.
平気なんです
ど どういうことです
What
か
are you getting at? Said the girl, cocking her head in utter
少女は理
confusion.
解が追いつかずに首をかし
The face crack is coming. The red SPX proved that models without any clues on how to disarm them are put to use as sentries, right? This black one was likely created with a more specific purpose in mind.
明確な目的
Specific purpose, you say?
それは
And just what would that be?
説明は後です
I can explain later. Right now, I'm going to pass the knife around. Everyone make a cut just deep enough to shed blood. Oh, I've got a great idea. Let's pass a knife around in a group where one of you is confirmed the serial killer. I'm sure this will end well.
I'm so genius!
Don't worry, my projections tell me that SPX won't move an inch. If something does happen, we can use the helipad to escape underground. Please trust me. Okay! Here it comes! A heavy silence hangs in the air, and then...
仕方ありませんわね
Nothing for it. As your chief, I shall carve our path ahead. Okay, or that. Posh snatches the knife from me and cuts her palm open. Blood wells in the center of her hand. But the SPX shows no sign of stirring. I honestly, at this point, there's probably like 30 minutes until what's-her-fuck just blows them all up. Downtown is 16. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Posh. Your theories have saved us countless times by now, but should this not pan out, be charged with marring the pristine skin of a young maiden, understood? Prepared for that. Not really of the age to be considered a young maiden, the girl said before grabbing the knife from MILF Detective. Bookworm, you're being entirely too disrespectful towards me. What's more, I'm only 21, a young woman in the prime of her youth. I mean, MILF Detective is... Well, actually, calling a 21-year-old a MILF is a choice. But, like, Bookworm's 11, so whatever. The prime of her youth? Only an old crone would say that, the girl retorted, laughing out loud as she admired her soft, pre-adolescent skin. Armin Detective. That would have been a deeper dig. As she banters casually, Bookworm glides the blade across her palm, drawing a thin line of blood. Thanks, you two. Sorry I can't. I'll go next, but if anyone's afraid of cutting too deeply, just ask me to do it for you. One after another, the remaining detectives cut themselves to prove their innocence. As I watch, I expound my train of thought. The black SPX is for use as a sentry. The way the red one was. It should have a target that it's supposed to track, right? Judging by Workaholic's attitude, there's only one person the SP would be so vigilant of. Principal Detective. Oh!
man! So it's not the Quartering Duke's blood. It's the Invincible Detective. Who, well, actually, the Invincible Detective could be the Quartering Duke. Man, I don't... Workaholic had believed that Invincible Detective's true identity was Renegade, but he was actually mistaken. Renegade told us he escaped morgue alongside a number of children. Among them was the true Invincible Detective, the future Quartering Duke. Okay, so they are the same. Given this organization developed the SPXs out of fear of Invincible Detective, they'd use the same blood tracking functions as Sniffy Whiffy. You can change your face and name, but not your DNA. By tracking the scent of their nemesis's blood, they could rest easy if Invincible came for revenge. This is just a hypothesis, but it could be that the Black SPX was stationed at the heliport to intercept Invincible Detective upon their arrival on Morgue. Either way, Invincible Detective was already aware of the SPX's unique detection method prior to infiltrating the island. And in an ironic twist, it didn't simply target Invincible Detective, but was manipulated by the scent of their blood to attack Ideal instead. I haven't forgotten. I know for a fact that you were bleeding passage. You pretended you were putting yourself on the line for your allies. Yep, it's over. GG, Doleful. Which resulted in a premeditated accident. What's wrong? Your hands are shaking. Shouldn't you be used to pain already? Doleful Detective, or should I say Invincible Detective, bleed for us again, just like you did back then. If you do, it'll prove your innocence, and I'll apologize from the bottom of my heart. I'll grovel as many times as it takes. So please, Doleful, make me owe you that apology. Laugh at me, tell me I'm wrong. Doleful's expression twists as he holds the knife in his hand. No matter how much I call to him, he refuses to reply. His silence is far more telling than words could ever be. He really is the core Duke. The whole group's gaze shifts to Doleful, whose entire body is trembling as he clutches the knife, his legs glued in place. If you examine it closely, you'll find blood, banner, too. Techie helped me analyze it. It was a perfect match with Doleful. You smeared your own blood on the door so that Black SPX wouldn't leave the premises. I hadn't noticed at all until now. I would like to point out a plot hole. From the second chapter of the game. One of the first instances that we realized we had the denouement was Doleful getting impaled by spikes trying to save Mystic? Someone in the spikes room. You've got it all wrong, incompetent. Doleful finally breaks his silence with a plea of denial. Think of all the dangers we've been through so far. All the trials we overcame together. You're really suspecting me after all that? I've always been putting my life on the line. I've always been prepared to die. You still suspect me. How could you? Leave me, incompetent. I'm not Invincible Detective or anything else. Those are fair points. You've always been on the front lines when everything's gotten precarious. You endured it all, even when it meant pulling all the danger your way. I really admired you. But if we look at it from another angle, you've survived every single threat, right? It's Invincible Detective's exact ability. The one Workaholic explained. If you were confident, you would live through anything. And it's only natural you'd put yourself on the front lines because you knew you couldn't possibly die. Stay away from me. I start to advance as I speak, but Dolful shrieks, turning the knife toward me. His legs are quivering, his face is fraught with fear. There's no way this is just an act.
いつから疑ってたの
Have you suspected me
僕はずっ
since
と
chapter 2? Here, I thought we trusted each other this entire time.
ずっと信じてた
I've always trusted you, and I still want to, even now.
でも
But when I noticed the blood on the
僕の
front
扉に
door,
血がついている
I
のに気づい
recalled why you'd been bleeding in the first place, and then it clicked.
たねえ飛躍君
Please, Dolful, just be honest with me.
本当のこと
Are you
を
really the
教えてよ
quartering Duke?
こんなのひどい
Don't come any closer. You're awful incompetent, unbelievably awful. While screaming to keep me at bay, Dolful hunches down, cowering where he stands. The sight makes me want to cry, but I push through the overwhelming guilt and attempt to speak with him once more.
離れて無能ちゃん
Get back, incompetent.
そ
He
の子
hasn't
は
shed
さ
a
っきから
single
泣
tear
いて
this
な
whole
んていないわ
performance.
もう演技
Are
はいい
you
んじゃ
done
な
with
い
the theatrics, Dolful?
飛躍
I
ちゃん
can smell when someone's lying through their teeth, you
私は
know.
ね人が嘘をつく時の匂いが
Well,
わか
where
る
was this earlier in the game?
これまではうまく隠してきたみたいだ
Hidden
け
it so well this whole time, but right now it's
今愉
overwhelming.
快で愉快
That
でたまらな
delectably
い
delicious, delightful scent I can't resist. Delectable. Oval? Noise, almost like a hiss of leaking air, mixes with wailing. The strange sound grows steadily louder. Classic. Then shifts into a chillingly familiar laugh. Of course it's delectable. I'm scum, yet you trusted me from the bottom of your hearts. Nothing could be more delicious. No doubt this is the best entertainment ever.
飛躍
Oval. Consciously, I speak his name aloud. This person possessed by maniacal laughter is far removed from the Dolful I've known. The others are stock still, similarly dumbstruck.
その返事は
I'll take that as an
捉え
affirmative.
てよろ
Osh opens her mouth again. Resolute, she faces Dolful and addresses him once more.
あなたを信頼していた私
What
たちがバ
fools
カで
we
した
were
わ
to place our faith
証
in
拠
you.
は揃ってい
We
ませ
have
ん
the evidence. As soon as backup from DA arrives, you will be restrained at once.
証拠
Evidence? What evidence?
はですから先ほど
Everything
無能さんが
incompetent
口
just
に
told
した
us.
バカな血が扉
So just
について
because
い
one
た
of
から
my
全ての黒幕
some of my blood's on the front door, I'm the mastermind? As if that theory holds any water.
確かに扉に血
Of
がつ
course
い
my
たかも
blood got on the
ね
door. I was running in a panic, so a few injuries
怪我
are
の一つや
only to be
二つそ
expected.
の血が扉についていたから犯人
Including
だっ
that
ていう
I'm
の
the
は
culprit on that
さすがに
alone
無理
is a
があ
bit
る
of
ん
a
じゃない
stretch, don't you think?
君
You're
だ
the
けは
only one who
ナ
refused
イ
to
フで
cut
手を
their
出血
palm.
他のみんなは血を流
The
し
rest
て
of
見
us
てたんだ
already have. At this point, no one
君
else
以外
could
で八
even
崎
be
校
the
だと思わ
quartering
れる
Duke.
人はいないんだ
血の匂いを元に追い
Hey,
かけ
that
てくる
blood
ネガが
tracking
近
mech
くに
is
いる
right
んだよ
next to us, okay?
そんな
Of
こと
course I
怖
can't
くて
cut
でき
myself.
ない
I'm
の
scared.
それとも僕
Are you
に
gonna
強
force
制
me?
するの
On what
そんな権利
authority?
はないよね
It's well within my rights to refuse. To call me a criminal for exercising that right would be pretty unprofessional. Josh and I are at a loss for words. By now, it's obvious that Dolph is invincible detective, but we still have no physical proof. In light of his rebuttal, we can't actually condemn him for anything.
理想ちゃん殺害を含む
We
こ
can't
の島での一連の事件につ
connect
いて
you
は
to any of the
確かに
crimes
何も言えない
that
わ
took
ね
place on this island, including Ideal's murder.
でも
But
これまでの
what
八
does
崎
all
校
the
事件につ
previous
いてはどう
quartering
か
Duke?
しら
What about
あ
all
な
the
たがいく
previous
ら反
quartering
論
Duke
しようと
cases?
も
No
私
matter
たち
how
はあ
much
な
you
たを安
protest,
崎校と考
you'll
えて
still
捜査
take
するわ
into account your actions as the perpetrator.
100人以上が死んだ事
Over
件ですも
100
の
lives have been lost.
必ず
Something
あ
pointing
なた
to
につ
you
ながる
is
証拠は見つけられる
bound to turn up.
い
So
つ
we'll
まで
just see how
笑っ
long
て
you
いら
can
れる
keep
か
laughing.
妹
八崎校事件の真相を解
You're
き明
gonna
かす
reveal the truth of the quartering Duke?
いいよ
Alright,
や
feel
っと
free to
君たち
try.
の熱意に免じて
I'll be happy
仮
to
に八崎校
defer
を演じてあげ
to
たってい
your
い
zeal
and play along with the quartering Duke. Personally, I feel it'd be better if the public never learns the facts. Maybe you guys just haven't noticed yet. What'll happen if you reveal the truth of the quartering Duke incident? I mean, truth of the quartering Duke incident? Can't be. Gourmet takes a step back, seemingly struck by a revelation. Foulest homicidal maniac to ever walk this earth, Girl said with a rancorous expression. You figured it out too, Bookworm? What's this truth he's talking about? I'm sure you can figure it out for yourself. Recall the details of the first and last cases. First and last cases? The first, the case of the dismembered detective, utilized mechanisms built into the chandelier to kill remotely. In reality, it had been a self-orchestrated suicide, one that Senior staged in downtown. The actual plan had been for both of them to die simultaneously, killing each other. The last, the case of the Paradox murders, was an odd one. 2 deaths occurred in quick succession thanks to Workaholic's efforts. When Renegade reset the breakers, Workaholic was electrocuted by his own trap, triggering the countdown for its collar to explode. The Renegade had resisted, he ultimately died by someone else's hands, not Workaholic's. This case too was originally meant to have 2 individuals responsible for one another's deaths. What the dismembered detective and the Paradox murders have in common is they were meant to have 2 dead, each of them a victim and a killer. The Duke was behind both incidents. What does that mean for all the other cases tied to the Duke so far? If the other quartering Duke cases... Oh my god, I'm so tired. There were always 2 people who died. So, if the same holds true for the killings here on Morgue, that would mean 2 people dead. Each a victim and a perpetrator, with a notable lack of evidence tying them to the quartering Duke. Heart jumps. Could it be? No, there's no way. Thought alone sends a chill down my spine. So you still don't understand why Vidocq launched this investigation to begin with. Gofu laughs, apparently sensing my unease. You've been treating me like some sort of murderer, but what if the quartering Duke cases don't even have Brit? What if the 2 victims had always just killed each other, but then... I don't give a whit either way, my only concern is denouncing you and your crimes. May not be so simple. Whatever you mean, the Duke is ultimately to blame. Should we not disclose the truth to the public? Guys, we're at the finale, but I am like... I think I'm at my limit. My voice is dying, and I'm so tired. How long is this going to drag out? Yeah, there's still the time machine. Just kidding. Alright, I tell you guys what. Big finale for this game on Saturday. It's pretty much done. We got to the freaking end, but god, I am really struggling to make it through these lines. Like, after 8 hours of dialogue, my voice is, I'm sure you can hear it. It's a little stripped right now. We'll finish it on the weekend and start Ace Attorney on Saturday for sure. I'm gonna get out of here and get some sleep. So, thank you for watching, guys. Very good stream.
I love you all. Take care.